everyone, Old School Pokemon here, back again with the PokeFlipz podcast, joined by my usual co-host, KetchumAllCollectibles Dan. And today we got a very special guest joining us for the first time, which Dan and I didn't realize. We got Brad G Cards. Welcome on, Brad.
Appreciate it.
How's it going today? How's everyone doing?
You guys didn't leave the fists up long enough. Where was my?
Sorry, it felt too goofy.
I was gonna rip my shirt off, get the bikini going, walk around with a big one.
Oh man, yeah. But Brad was responsible for that thumbnail. So be ready for the heavyweight bout today. As you can tell, like Nick didn't ask me how I was doing, but I'm going to tell you how I'm doing. Clearly my weight loss journey is going well because I'm looking real good in that thumbnail. So if you want some fitness tips, maybe feel free to reach out. I'm here for it. Clearly mine's 2 months in. Pretty big transformation from beer belly to six pack. But we're going to be doing this as we normally do, Q&A style. We're probably going to recap Dallas a little bit. Brad is here as our guest. He's been at tons of Collecticons. We might maybe a little bit like convention focused because he is a veteran of the conventions, been to more of them than I have, I believe, by quite a bit.
I don't know,
but yeah,
maybe.
Brad, I think everyone knows who you are in here, but for those one or two, maybe few who don't, if you want to give a quick little who you are, what you do, what's up?
Okay. So yeah, obviously my name's Brad. My little YouTube channel is Brad G Cards, and just a small time collector, flipper. Got standard like boomer story. I'm in my 30s, so I was into it at the beginning when it first came out. Faded away. Got back into it around 2016, 2017, around evolutions. Didn't sell anything for the first few years. Just collected. Eventually went to my first card show and met Nick there, and then he told me about Collecticon. And then fast forward a few years, it's been like 11 Collecticons later. Got back from Dallas like 2 weeks ago, and yeah, wish I could be in California right now, but I'm too old for the 2 weeks later thing. So yeah.
Yeah, Dallas is already old news, but we're here to talk about it today. I'm already seeing Instagram stories. I'm already seeing Discord posts from LA. That's happening tomorrow and Sunday. Crazy this year how there's going to be 12. There's so many times where it's like 2 to 4 weeks between two of them. I'm too old. I don't have the hustle to go across the country 2 weeks later.
Yeah, it is a lot. I feel like I just got back home from Dallas. I was in Chicago for a little while too, but I feel like I just got home from that. I would not be ready to go to LA right afterwards.
Yeah, I like a solid couple months in between shows. Planning on going to Orlando. That's like the perfect amount of time in between this last one and the next. So looking forward to that.
On that note, like I think Nick and I have made pretty known our planned year of travel, what conventions we're going to be at. I'm going to be at myself like for a couple hours, I think Saturday, New Jersey, and then I'll be vending at Charlotte and Chicago. Nick, I guess quickly, Nick, what were yours again? And then Brad, let us know where you're going to be.
So I added a new one to mine. I'm going to do Kansas City. I'm going to do Charlotte, and then Chicago. And then New Jersey too. New Jersey will be the same as you. Drive down Saturday, come home Sunday. And then probably I think I'll vend in Charlotte. I think that'll be the only one I vend at.
What about you, Brad?
So like I said, Orlando's the next one. I was wanting to go to New Jersey, but that hotel situation is not looking too good. So I might change that. I probably will change that to Charlotte instead. Go to Charlotte over New Jersey and then Chicago. I don't know. The ones towards the end of the year, I don't know which come first, but I know Orlando is the next one I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick added on what I've heard described.
Sorry, go ahead.
As the Super Bowl of Collecticons. Nick saw Kansas City going on. He's like, I can't miss the biggest one of the year. I got to add that one. What caused you to add that one in?
How are you gonna pick Kansas City over Orlando too? Like, come on, Orlando's the best one. And you're like, I'm gonna go to Kansas.
Location-wise, Orlando is easily the best one. My thing was, so Walrus and Vandy were talking about going to Kansas City, so that got me interested. But then the buying opportunities, where Kansas City isn't, it's people always complain about how slow sales are there. I think Kansas City might be a good buying opportunity where there's nobody else buying stuff.
Yeah, take advantage of all those vendors that aren't making any sales.
Yes, exactly.
Could be a strap. Are you gonna do a I haven't noticed one, Nick. We did get a video out of you recently, but you're not gonna recap your Dallas with a nice YouTube video? I think YouTube is blowing up right now with all the convention vlog style. Like, how'd your thing go? You're not gonna bless us with a video about that?
I don't know. I had such a good video idea. We talked about it last time where I was gonna walk around with $1,000, buy stuff, sell it on live, and then do a recap of that. That did not work out as planned. So that deflated my took the wind right out of my sails.
Did you film buying anything though?
What was that?
Did you film yourself buying any of those cards like during the day before?
I did film a few clips that I was gonna put together in a video, and now that I couldn't do that video, I just gave up on that idea. Maybe I'll do something. Maybe I'll just wait until the next CollectCon and do something. Or maybe I'll just clip us talking about CollectCon and upload it on my own channel.
Did you were you like strapped up with a GoPro, or how did you film it? Did you have someone with you?
No, I just had my phone, and then when I bought stuff from different tables, I'd ask them if I could take a quick video clip, and I'd like show some of the stuff they had in their cases, show what I bought, give them a shout out.
I think that would be a good video in itself, just buying at Collecticon. Like, you don't have to really do anything else with that, it seems like.
There's not, it'd be like a 5-6 minute video. There's only like 5 or 6 clips.
It would have been nice if you could have wrapped it up with like a whole summary on, because your plan was to stream it live. Hey, I spent $1,000, like doubled my money in a day, 1,000 to 2,000 within 6 hours, whatever it is. But yeah, then the eBay live didn't really work out from the hotel room, unfortunately.
That was a bummer. But maybe I'll do. I definitely want to do that idea at some point. Maybe I'll do a comparison between walking around and vending.
That's a good one too. Got to do that vendor POV though.
I know
Yes.
those things are blowing up. I know. Seen him a bunch at the convention, sold to him before, but the Bulbasaur, Dylan, I think, he's blown up like crazy. One thing I don't know, I've DM'd with him a little bit more recently and just over the years, I guess. But I don't know if he like just has the camera always on, like it records for 9 hours and then he just pulls out what he needs, or does he like when someone comes to the table, I kind of wonder like, hey, are you fine with me recording this? And then maybe he just clicks a button to start and then clicks a button to stop and then edits it later. I don't really know which one it is because I don't think I've ever been by his table. One thing I don't do at these conventions, and I never really like look around, shop around. Like I'll go to Troll and Toad to try to talk to somebody. I'll go to Master Set to talk to Sam quick. I'll go like visit with some friends and stuff, but I never really just shop around every table in the whole venue. I've not done that at all.
You got to do that one day.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And it was really nice to be able to go out, go like leave the convention and go out and grab a good lunch with Peaks, Sam, and Harry.
Mm.
Yeah, when you have a table, it kind of feels like you're kind of trapped to that one spot. Like you can have people view, like watch your stuff for a little bit, but I don't, like putting that burden on people. So it's like you're in a rush to get right back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're walking around, it's like so much freedom where you can just do whatever you want. So
We got Mr. Walrus and Pongo wanting to know what prompted Brad to call out Dan, and when does Brad start exposing know-it-all collectibles?
Do you want to know the truth?
Let's get the truth bombs going.
When the fisherman talk started, because I view myself as a true fisherman, and Dan is the banker, and he's trying to come out here and say that he's the fisherman. It's not true, people. I've been trying to tell everybody that he's not the fisherman. He's the banker.
I'm a well-funded, well-capitalized fisherman with a quite the vessel, quite the rig setup.
Quite the rig.
Boom, exposed. Appreciate you, Drew, for the membership. Here we go. How's Brad's Weedle collection, and is Weedle's warehouse on the list?
I haven't picked up a Weedle card in a little bit. I picked up like a PSA 4, no symbol. That was probably the last one. I don't know. I picked up all of them like a while back, and there really hasn't been any exciting Weedle cards that come out lately. So it's kind of just been sitting in the closet, picking up dust. But I've been collecting Weedle since before I knew Weedle's warehouse, just so everybody knows.
Any big things? And as I said, Nick didn't make a recap video. Brad, you made a little quick one. Anything you didn't cover in that you want to cover here? Anything to mention about conventions in general? I guess I'll go first quickly because I made an hour-long video, and then immediately once I was done recording, I turned around and I'm like, I didn't shout out Maria. Maria gave me this gift. You want to talk about you want to talk about my nondescript orange lizard and maybe how it might toe a couple lines. Like, I mean, I don't see any resemblance to anything, but this thing is hilarious. So shout out to Maria. It's not a Beanie Baby. It's a celebrity bear, but it is a Pokey bear, Pokey. No, whatever that symbol is over the E. No, whatever that is. So it's a Pokey bear. I mean, the red cheeks, the yellow bear, it might bear resemblance to an electric mouse, but maybe it doesn't. And then on the back, it doesn't say gotta catch them all. It just says catch them all. So I thought this one was like hilarious. Just the juxtaposition of this to like my whole nondescript orange lizard thing. Pretty funny thing. So he's going to live back here now. Thank you, Maria, for that. And then Nick briefly mentioned Sam. If anyone knows Sam, Chibi Collectibles, Sam actually made some. I forgot to mention this in my video, I think entirely. But Sam made some massive pickups at Dallas Collecticon. So I had received delivery of an Art Academy card for him that I gave to him there. And then I helped facilitate another one that he bought from, I forget the guy's name.
Uh-oh.
Oh, did you freeze? Thought he was just deep in thought.
all the videos just completely went black on my screen for a second. I don't know what happened there, but hopefully we're still rolling. Did you miss my audio, or was my audio there?
You were frozen.
You completely froze.
Oh, okay. So I don't know where I was exactly, but Sam, Chibi Collectibles, he made a couple of Art Academy pickups that I kind of helped facilitate. He part paid, part trade, whatever it was, and I did the deal. Like I did the buying side through Collector's Cash, and he added a couple Quaxleys to my PC. You can never have too many Quaxley plushes, so I've got this nice one. I don't know, maybe I got to hang it from the rearview mirror in my car. Pretty big for that. Probably get pulled over, get a ticket. But it hangs for some reason. I'll have to figure out some place to hang it.
Put
and
it
then
on
I got this one.
Tree.
Yeah, there you go. And then I got this one too, who very nice fit to the Collectibles merch, very nice fit to the cap, but it's like a flattened Quaxley. I don't know what his deal is, but I like his vibe. I used to have this huge one back there, but now I got the flat guy back there because he can rock the hat. So those were a couple PC pickups. Last PC pickup I'll show. I got the serialized Jeff Gordon from Brad G Cards himself, which I forgot to show off. It's like a $2 Panini Prism.
Yeah.
Numbered to 99. It's number 9 out of 99. So I made an hour-long recap, and I forgot to show all those things. You guys made a short and no recap whatsoever. So what do you guys want to cover that you didn't cover? Anything to add?
You want to go first, Nick?
Well, for me, it was the first time walking around, not vending. Like I said, like I mentioned, really cool experience. I really enjoyed that. Just being able to walk around and actually have time to just look at stuff, talk to different people. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure like how the weekend would go, like if I would get bored after the first day, or if I would have already seen everything after the first day and have nothing to do on Sunday. But I actually spent a good bit of time walking around and really didn't get bored. I definitely was able to see everything in the 2 days. And it was similar to how I expected it would go. A lot of vendors didn't want to deal very much, like give discounts very much on Saturday, which makes sense given that it's the first day. But then on Sunday, a lot more people were willing to negotiate. Yeah, I found that like you can kind of tell like who's a professional vendor, and those people are probably going to be going to multiple collecticons. They do shows, they sell themselves. Whereas people who just have like the occasional 1-2 tables and don't go to all the different collecticons, those people are definitely more willing to work with you on pricing and all that stuff. So I was able to pick up a decent bit on Saturday, mainly from our 1 section, and then the half section that Jake had. And then Sunday is when I did a majority of my walking around, buying stuff from other people outside of our section. But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was nice being able to have that home base steal your guys' section without having to pay anything. That was so nice.
The bill's in the mail.
The mail. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. And like I said, being able to actually leave the convention and go grab lunch Saturday, that was awesome. Not having to have convention food and be stuck behind the table. I do want to vend at least one this year. Like I said, I'm planning on vending Charlotte, but what sells good at Collecticon and what sells good on eBay Live, it's just way too similar for me. So I don't want to. I would rather keep the stuff for eBay Live and not vend than vend and try to do eBay Lives.
Are you driving to Charlotte again or flying this time?
Absolutely not. Nope. No. I think I'm going to do 2 tables for Charlotte, and 2 tables you can easily fly down. The years before where I was doing 4 or 5 tables, it made sense to drive down. It made a little bit of sense, but that drive down last year was way too long. That ruined.
What was it, like
for me?
18 hours or something?
Yeah, it was like a 16-hour drive. It was brutal.
Nah,
Crazy.
I'm good on that.
How about you, Brad? How was your experience?
It was pretty standard collecticons. Sold some cards, bought some cards, hung out with some cool people. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much covered it in my video. Shout out to Gallery Panda. They hooked us all up at the end. They were just passing those acrylic display things. I have like 8 of them at my house now.
You should have put them on the wall behind you.
Eventually, I'm just lazy, so
I forgot to show that off too, and I don't have it handy to show it off. But yeah, Brad hooked me up with one of those. Appreciate that. It was bigger, like it couldn't even go on the belt at TSA. It had to just be my wife carried it through, and they like the first guy was like, no, you got to put that in a bin. It sits on top of the bin. It doesn't fit in either direction. And then so he kind of yelled at her about not putting it in a bin. And then as she walked through, I think that person kind of yelled at her for not having put it in the bin too. It's like, but then as far as like putting it in the overhead bin, it went perfectly fine on top of our bags and no issue. So that was good.
Nice. Dang it, I could have got one then.
Zach,
I didn't know how I would get it home.
Zach had like 7 of them, and they owed him 2 more. They're supposed to give him 2 more in LA. I hope he got them back home. I was thinking, I don't know how you would fly with that many, but
I think they would fit at like the top of checked luggage. I think they're within those dimensions, but not within the dimensions of a carry-on.
Yeah.
I was gonna. I forget what I was gonna ask. Oh yeah, I started somewhere. So here we go. Mr. Walrus wanted to know on the convention thing. What does Brad go into Collecticon looking to do? What's the mentality? Sell, buy, chill. And I guess talk specifically about Dallas. And then have you gone to any just to hang out? Have you gone to any and not vended, or have you vended all of them?
So yeah, the first 5 that I went to, I like sort of backpack vended. Like I brought a bunch of stuff. I didn't have a table, but I went to the show and like tried to sell and trade with the stuff that I brought. And so I did that for like the first 5, and then I eventually just started getting my own table. But my mentality is always just, make enough money for where it's worth it. Buy a little bit to, sell later on. I plan on going to a bunch of these things. So it's like to rotate inventory out, and then, chill with the homies. Like that's a big part of it too, So I like to, do a little bit of everything. I don't go into it, I got to make X amount or anything like that. I kind of approach it as like a vacation type of thing, but it is nice to make money while you're on vacation,
And the correct answer is always like it is a business trip that opens the doors when it comes to tax time. I mean, making certain deductions, making certain discounting your travel, which is nice.
On paper, yeah, but like personally, it's like I view it.
The word collection doesn't exist, and the word vacation doesn't exist. It's inventory and it's business travel. Those are the proper terms.
God, I thought having Brad on, we would avoid tax talk.
Oh, it's that time of year. I got a video fired up for Monday. I got a series of videos that's coming out between now and April 15th.
Oh, man. Here we go.
I got to give a quick shout to, I mentioned Drew became a member. Java dropped 5 gifted. Appreciate you guys. We got a couple questions from from Brokemon Cards for Nick. For Nick directly. So were there any baddies at Collecticon first? I mean, I'm a married man. Brad is also spoken for. So Nick, your question and your question alone. Were there any baddies, and then were there any OSP groupies at Collecticon?
There is actually.
At Collecticon, I don't know about at Collecticon, but then after Collecticon at the the barcade place, there were definitely a few there. And then OSP groupies. I did get to meet a few of the eBay Live people, which was really cool. I got to meet Mr. and Mrs. Poke Nerds, Haunter, Dad of Collects, and I'm forgetting his name. There was one more though.
It's always so risky to start listing names because then someone's going to be forgotten and left out.
I should have just left it and I met a few people. But no, it was that was really cool to actually meet the eBay Live people in person. Obviously I know Brad and Walrus and all them, the regulars, BB. But getting to meet the new people that I'd never actually met before that come into the lives so often was really, really cool.
And I got to put this in here. It is what is it? National Women's Day, International Women's Day. I don't know. Shout out to all the sugar mamas out there. I'm blessed to have that situation on my side. Maybe at some point it should have been like for today, but I'll have to make a video just detailing my ability to go full time being significantly made easier by the fact that I have a sugar mama paying the bills, getting that healthcare, all that stuff. It's a big thing. Mr. War says Women's Day is the time to ask, giving baddies the respect they deserve. Oh man. Pongo wants a complete list on who the homies are, Brad.
Oh no, I don't want to do that because I'll forget someone.
Lists are too dangerous.
Yeah,
I always
dangerous.
I always feel bad when I start naming names because it's like I'm gonna miss a bunch. I'm terrible with names to begin with. Yeah. Oh man. That's a tier list that will not be made, Mr. Walrus. That's trying to cause marital strife, trying to cause all kinds of issues. Here we go. Dark Lava Lizard season 4 premiere. Will our heroes all survive another season? So yeah, shout out to episode 1, season 1, episode 1 was actually the start of my channel. I forget which day it actually happened, but it was 3 years ago now. So it was sometime in March of 2021. This is officially our 4th season, episode 77 or whatever, 78. Episode 78.
How long did you guys do the post on both channels thing?
I think that was
a whole year.
Yeah, 1 year, and then it's been 2 years on PokeFlipz. Yeah, we used to simultaneously post my channel and Nick's channel, and I know some people do like the alternating thing. I know like Cardboard Hands has the live on retros and then the pre-recorded on Josh's.
Mm-hmm.
And we just went the route of like, we're going to post them both. We always had to like pull questions from both, sometimes some overlap. The real homies going way back, they'd watch one on mute. They'd watch the other one with the sound. They'd like on both. They drop comments on both, like pumping that algorithm for us. But yeah,
I forgot we're this is the first episode of season 4. That's exciting.
Yep. Hopefully many more to come. I know if it's up to me, we're going to keep going for the long haul. We'll have to see. I mean, we have kept Nick consistent here. We know how his other YouTube channel goes, but
we're getting back here at least.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it's pretty crazy. 3 years now. 3 years under the belt. Start of year 4 for both my channel and this podcast. So hopefully a long ways to go.
At least another 70 years.
Yeah. Cardboard Hands is underrated. It's definitely a must watch for me. I actually just caught up. I was 2 weeks behind and I didn't realize it. My watch later is like 100 videos right now. At some point I need to do like I need to go through, move to top everything I think I want to watch, and then just purge the rest of it. But there were 2 Cardboard Hands down there. And one of them, I was appalled to discover that Josh, Old Card Shop himself, is also a milk dumper. He was on Nick's side, drinking the cereal and then just dumping out the milk afterwards. I was actually thinking the other day, last night actually, as I was listening to that, how much milk do you guys put in your cereal? Like when I'm done with my cereal, there's not that much milk. It's like a quick sip. It's not like I'm drinking a whole pint of milk at the end. Cause I don't know. It's like such a crazy thought to me.
No, there's still a good bit of milk left.
Like if you poured it into a glass, we talking like a full cup, like 8 ounces, probably like half a glass.
It probably be about half a glass, maybe a little bit more.
I don't drink it though. If it's in cereal,
Brad.
It's going down the drain.
We got another milk dumper? Man.
Yeah, it's going down the drain. I love milk. I drink a lot of milk. But if it's been through the cereal, it's got to go down the drain. I'm not drinking that.
And I don't eat this cereal because I don't like it really at all. I don't like chocolate cereals. I'm not a huge sweet tooth anyways. But like that Nesquik cereal that makes your milk chocolate. Do you drink it then or no?
Nesquik makes like
Then I
chocolate
will. Are you
syrup.
talking Cocoa Puffs?
Yeah, Cocoa Puffs makes your chocolate milk.
I thought there was like a
Then
Nesquik
I
one
will drink the
too.
milk.
So certain
Nesquik
ones
is
you will
like
drink the milk.
chocolate mix for your milk. That's what I thought
Well,
Nesquik
like
was.
Cocoa Puffs are bigger, so you don't have any like extra Cocoa Puffs in the milk. But if you're eating like frosted mini wheats, you get all those like little
Yeah.
strands of whatever in your milk, and it's nasty.
I mean, I eat all different kinds of cereal, but I don't do. I think Nesquik. Nesquik is the powder that you pour in. I think it has a little rabbit on it.
Yeah.
We use the Hershey's chocolate syrup to make chocolate milk. But anyways, I think Nesquik, maybe they don't anymore, but I think at one point they made almost like a different branded Cocoa Puffs. It was just smaller Cocoa Puffs with like the powder on it. I'm just not
only
about
you
chocolate.
ate that. No one else ate that.
I knew it
That's why they
existed.
don't sell it anymore.
We had it in my house, but I didn't eat it. I didn't like it. I not a big fan of chocolate cereals at all. I'm I guess chocolate peanut butter. Give me some Reese's Puffs. That's good stuff. We got Basic just hating on cereal entirely. I mean, cereal is like one of the major food groups in this household. Cereal is very, very underrated, I think, overall. It's so much diversity. There's so much good stuff in that aisle. Milk dumping is blasphemy.
It's not a lot of milk. You know, it's just.
Oh, here we go.
I'm glad you're on my side. Brad.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Dan's buddy got busted.
If you guys want to go first. If you guys want to go first while I round up some more questions and stuff, but yeah, if anyone didn't see, I'll set the stage.
So real quick, when I first saw this, I didn't know who PokeFlipz was, so I looked him up on Instagram, and the first thing I saw was followed by KetchumAllCollectibles, and I was like, all right, that's all I need to know.
Well, if you guys want to talk quickly what you guys think about that, I'll set the stage quick. So if anyone doesn't know, go check out ZNG Emporium. He made a video, high six-figure consignment that he had recently received. Some of the auctions were being shilled by the owner of the cards, basically being bid on. Were they going to pay? Were they not going to pay? I'll save mine until you guys go. But what do you guys think about all that? Right, wrong? I know some people defended him on Instagram. I think the whole thing got the whole YouTuber, PokeTuber watchdog treatment. I think Opossum Bud made a video, Rattle made a video. So where are you guys at on that?
You want to go first, Brad? You want me to go first?
I'll go first. I'll be quick. I think it's you can't defend that. Terrible. Wouldn't do it. Screw that guy for doing that. It's a horrible thing. It's illegal too. If you get busted, you could get in legal trouble. So it's like just something I would never want to touch, something I would never want to be associated with. So I can't believe that there's people like defending him. That's wild to me that there's people out there actually defending him. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. He definitely knew what he was doing. He definitely knew he shouldn't be doing it. He was an idiot for using his own account. Well, he was an idiot for doing it to begin with, but to then use his own account, you're even more of an idiot. You deserve all the criticism you get. I think his whole plan was to bid it up. I think he would have paid for it because you're paying what is it, like a 2-3%, and then you're not paying for the whole item price. You're paying the whole item price, and then you're getting 97% of that back. And now you have a legitimate eBay sale that you could use as a comp to sell it again.
That's probably what he was doing.
That was his whole strategy. That's why he was using 2 accounts in order to get that artificial sale. So yeah, completely disagree with it. I'm glad he came out with a semi half bleeped apology. At least he acknowledged it, and I got such a kick out of the Zard Hunter posting this whole ranty story.
The Zard Hunter,
about
Charizard King 24.
Wait, what?
Brad used to be the Zard Hunter.
No,
Charizard King 24.
Sorry, Zard King. My bad.
Anyways.
My B, Brad. How he posted that whole ranty story about, oh, this isn't wrong. You could do this all the time at auction houses, blah, 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 defending Beta. And then Beta basically posts a story. Yeah, what I did was wrong. I'm sorry about that. It just goes to show you how stupid Zard King is and how he has absolute zero morals whatsoever.
Yeah.
I can't stand that guy. And every single time something comes up, he just looks stupider and stupider.
Yeah, so go ahead, Brad.
I'm surprised that dude's able to still conduct business, honestly, with like all his takes and stuff. But, you know, I guess that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, so my take on it, obviously, I mean, eBay policy is just, it forbids bidding on your own items, even if it's listed through a consignor, like, and then to be so, thankfully, the guy was not very wise and he did it through an eBay account. Because where I'm going to go with this is like, this happens a lot, unfortunately. I think I already have my video done for Monday. I don't want to make it feel like I'm stirring the pot, trying to ride the drama train, whatever. Maybe I'll wait a few weeks to make the video. But I've made videos in the past. I made a video a couple years ago, I think, about PWCC and eBay and Golden and Hair, like all these companies having these like bad comps, PWCC confirming items were paid that weren't paid, eBay obfuscating what items are paid versus not paid. You need to be careful out there. Like you need to be careful out there because this whole comp culture, this whole someone else paid it, so I'm willing to pay it now. It's just so dangerous because these things are so gameable. I mean, Nick talked about it just a minute ago. That guy might have intended to pay for the cost of only 1 or 2% of the final sale price. He could insert a bad comp out there. Like with normal eBay fees, you got to pay like 12% to, like, say you want to sell something, get it sold. You're losing like 10, 12% to put a bad comp out there. That comes at a hefty cost. That's like a pretty big deterrent for people doing that. With the eBay vault now, be careful out there because if 5 transactions on a card have happened and they're heading up, like that doesn't mean they actually happened. It could have been 10 parties in a group selling between each other. And I think it's always one of those things where like I sit firmly on the fence because some people are way too far. Everything's a scam. Everything's investors selling to investors. None of it's real. And then some people are like, oh, we're going to the moon. Like this is like nothing's fake. There's no scams. There's people in extremes on both sides that are just wrong. It's always in the shade of gray. The whole world exists in a shade of gray. It's almost never black or white. But yeah, just be careful out there. Like pay what you're willing to pay. This is all highly speculative cardboard. There are bad people out there. There are bad actors breaking the law, breaking terms of service, and it's just a reality. It's a reality. This one got caught because the person was being dumb about it. The next guy that watched that ZNG video, it's not that hard to not be dumb about it. eBay, unfortunately, makes it too easy. I know a lot of the auction houses, you're actually tied to, and I could be wrong here. I don't think you can just create a heritage account, create a PWCC account, and get $100,000 bid limit as easily as you can on eBay. I mean, I had to give like a bunch of records and stuff. I had to give tied to my name. I think some of them got my social too because, well, I don't know. They don't issue 1099s. Maybe they didn't. But one thing, it's never going to happen. But I wish eBay would do it. I wish eBay would get your social. They do if you sell. But I wish they would get your social if you buy, and then just social security number ban you. Like if you start shilling, if you start doing stuff like that, you are universally banned. Not IP ban, not like device ban, not browser ban. You are social security number banned. Like you cannot ever sign up for a new account. And people would still use housemates, people would use roommates, people would use spouses, whatever it may be. It wouldn't be a perfect system, but it would be better. But that's never happening. eBay is not going to do that, make that big of a hurdle to allow people to bid and spend money on their ecosystem, right? So know that it happens. It's a good thing. James, stand-up guy, made the video and all that. But that's my thoughts. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality. Just arm yourselves with the knowledge that it happens, and don't go overpaying based on comps that yeah, maybe they were paid. And that's a little bit of a thing for eBay too. Like, I think it would be easy enough for them. Turn the price green when it's paid in sold listings. Turn it red when it's not paid. Turn it red when it's canceled, or delete it. Delete it if it's canceled, refunded, not paid. But then with the whole eBay vault thing, the fees being so low, people can transact and pay, and those will all show up green. Those will all show up legitimate, but they weren't actually legitimate, right? Some of these same things go on in crypto. Some of these same things were going on in NFTs, and like, at the end of the day, it's like a non-regulated, highly speculative, collectible asset that is just very ripe for abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people do put way too much emphasis on the last comp.
Yeah.
Which can be scary at times.
I'm guilty of doing it, but I feel like
Oh, yeah.
you can always, do a little bit of research, and it's pretty easy to tell when something looks fishy or not, or I don't know.
It's tough, and like the standard, like the whole Collecticon weekend, I was taking stuff in trade. I was buying some stuff outright from my people that came up to me. And how did I base that? What I'm telling people not to do is exactly what I was doing. Like, but some of it comes with experience, some of it comes with knowledge and all that stuff. And I was buying items frequently, or taking in trade items that had, like, if you look at Moonbryon, like, there might be individual Moonbryon sale, like there might be individual things going on, but when something's transacting several times a day, it just makes it that much less likely that any bad stuff's going on, because it's like, it's just so deep, it's so wide. Like Celebrations Charizard, I don't think that one's being in any major way. But if you start talking like super low pop stuff, super obscure niche stuff that only sells a couple times a year, all it takes is one or two fake transactions, and it's like, oh well, it must have been a private collector finishing his complete set PSA 10s, or it must have been this or that, and you're never really going to know. So ultimately, and I'm buying these at a percentage, knowing that I can sell it quickly based off someone else that's going to buy off the comp. That's a different situation from like buying, consuming, holding, or investing, like buying and investing based on, oh, well, 5 people paid this over the past 6 months. Did they actually? There's just a lot there. There's a lot there.
Yeah, and when you take stuff in a trade, you like scam people with that Leafeon. Remember, Nick? The Leafeon?
Yeah, you scammer.
Wait, which Leafeon?
The PSA 8 alt art you bought and sold to Skyrush for $20.
Oh yeah, I got wrecked on that. Yeah, that was a kid coming up to me, and I just went off the sticker price on his card, and it was worth like apparently double what it was stickered for, or something. I don't know. I didn't even count that card.
And you're like, I'll do 70% off the sticker, even though it's double sticker.
I think he traded
screwing little kids.
I think it was 60. I think it was 60 worth on his end, and it was 50 on my end, or something like that. So I gave him, I mean, that's like almost 80%, a little over 80%. But yeah, then I come to find out that he stickered, and I think he was doing like a trade up deal. I think he was, and some vendor must have had it priced that way, because it was, I don't know. That was a weird situation. Oh
God.
I
like spicy OSP.
My screen went black for a second.
Uh-oh. I'm continually getting the little 3 bars Wi-Fi thing. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I am hardwired, but my internet has just been struggling the past couple weeks. I don't know why. Brandon, I always just use Nick's eBay live sales as comps. That's the strat. When you're selling, use eBay Live as comps.
Yeah.
And then when you're buying, you use the eBay Live ones where it errors out and it sells for $1.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Oh God.
definitely have to be careful out there. But yeah, that was a good question. It feels pretty straightforward, but it's always interesting to see and hear what certain people have to say when something like that's pretty cut and dry comes up. The only caveat, and I texted James because I'm like, man, James, you threw me under the bus, making it sound like I was on. I'm surprised Brad didn't bring this up, but James mentioned in his video, he's like, hey, I texted with Dan, and Dan was playing a little bit of devil's advocate. This was before I had all the information. I didn't see the evidence that James presented in that video. But there are actually auction houses, and I'm not going to name any by name because I'm not positive which ones. I know local to me, just little auction near me. Like I used to go and I used to buy some coins and some of the steins that I have. I've bought at those. And I think even some large auction houses, instead of having like a reserve price, like say I put up a card for auction at one of these local auction houses, maybe even big auction houses, instead of a reserve, they allow the owners, the consigners, to bid. And what happens is, if the consigner wins, they just pay the same. Usually it's actually a discounted fee. So say the auction house charges like a 20% consignment fee. If the buyer buys it back, there's even a name for it. I forget what it's called. I was doing a little bit of like Googling the other night after James's video. There's a name for it where if the consigner buys it back, they pay like maybe a 10% fee instead of, it's like a reserve, but in a different way. And if that person that, and I think they're from Australia, if they claimed that and maybe they genuinely didn't know, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. It doesn't sound like that. And obviously none of that applies anyway for eBay. If it was ignorance, if it was due to that, like maybe, but it wasn't that whatsoever. But it is pretty crazy the way that some places do that and encourage and allow you to bid on your stuff and then just buy it. Pretty wild. Be careful. Be careful with comps.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And while you're looking for the next one, shout out to PokeChef and Wonder. I was listening to that podcast this morning. Really good interview. PokeChef and Wonder for interviewing him.
I think Wonder has some of the best content on YouTube right now, like in the Pokemon space. I think he's a really good interviewer. He's got a really good slate of people on there. I hope he continues on. My productivity, I'm working nights now, and he does them all at night. My productivity goes down like 90% when I'm in a live stream, watching a live stream, because I want to read chat. I want to engage in chat. Plus I'm only consuming the content at 1x. So my like content consumption goes down by almost 50% because I normally watch on 1.75. But yeah, shout out to Pokemon Wonder. He's putting up some great content. Very, very solid content. I will definitely be watching that next week. We got one from Mr. Walrus. What's Brad's business goals for 2024? Any resolutions or updates?
Yeah, so I don't do New Year's resolutions or anything. So if I don't know if that's what he meant, but business goals for 2024. You know, I kind of like to view myself as retired. So really just travel to the few Collecticons that I'm going to. I'm doing a couple other things travel wise outside of Collecticon and just, you know, enjoying the year. Yeah, I'm not the most business oriented type of person you'll meet. So yeah, I don't really set business goals or anything like that.
Just along for the ride, having a good time,
Yeah.
trying to make a little money here and there.
Hey,
Exactly.
you got back on eBay. That's a big
Yeah.
milestone there.
I'm trying to bring back the eBay store back to life. It's been dead for about 2 years, so been doing my 5 listings a day for like a week, a little over a week.
Do the profits all get rolled in? into more inventory, or are you like
Yeah.
maxing out IRAs with the proceeds, or what are you building a big PC?
I do have like a pretty decent PC that I just continually add to, but yeah. Other than that, just a lot of the stuff I'm getting now, like when I sell something on eBay, I just turn it into something else to sell, you know.
There was another one I was just gonna grab. Oh yeah, with respect to I try to be better about not swinging back and forth between topics, but this is one that I had missed from Oak. I had people literally
Right.
message me in Discord and ask to help show their listing. I've been back in this hobby for 10 years now, and the amount of people, and it's so funny to see. And I'm sure there are some people, what they say versus what they do, very two distinctly different things. Over my 10 years, though, the amount of times that I've seen the same thing years back when I didn't have a channel, but I remember Gold Stars. Nick probably remembers. I forget what year exactly it was, but Gold Stars went through like a Gold Star boom. A lot of it was a lot of shilling, a lot of non-paid. I had such trouble getting certain cards sold. It was literally the same people. Like I remember I would sell, it would get pumped to the moon, non-paid, cancel, block that guy. And then like the second highest bid, I blocked like 3 bidders from the first one, and I'd do it again. And I do a little bit of detective work, linking through Instagrams, looking at like their location. It's like these are the same people just creating new accounts to do the same thing. One of the reasons, like going way back, that I'm so staunchly like buy it now over auction. Not that they're infallible, because we talked about the whole issue with comps with the eBay vault, low fees, this and that, but they're just less of a headache. I've experienced so many times where people just cause issues with auctions, and it's not perfect, but it's a lot less likely that issues get caused with buy it nows. So, but yeah, like people are wild. People are so blasé about shilling items, and I've definitely experienced the same thing that Oak's talking about. Colluding too. One thing I won't like. This is something that I think is more people can point at shilling and say, well, that's blatant, that's obvious, that's over the line. I see it in this Discord a lot where people like collude. It's like, hey, I know that you're going to be no. People will say like, hey, I know you're going to be bidding on this. Like, what's your max bid? I actually have people reach out to me a lot. What I see you're bidding on this, or you might be bidding on this eventually. Back when I was, for a while there, I was flipping stuff off Heritage and Golden. I was buying those massive collections and then just breaking them down on eBay. But people would message me and be like, hey, if your max bid is higher than mine, I just won't place my bid so that you can save money. Or vice versa. If you're going to bid more than me anyways, well, I just won't place my bid and I'll help you out. That's like wrong too. That is wrong too. And people just do this stuff like so casually. So like, oh no. To me, it's like, if it's an auction, I know there might be 10 more people that I know bidding on it, but I'm not talking to any of them about it. And one thing I'm going to start doing that I've probably talked against, I've probably talked like sniping. I've never been one to snipe. I've never had Gix, and I've never had any of the other sniping services. I'm going to have to now. I've been bidding. There are plays to be made, like through the eBay vault. Years ago, I used to buy auctions and sell as buy it nows, and you used to have to overcome a 12% margin. You used to have to make 12% just to break even due to the eBay fees. With the eBay vault now, you can buy for $1,000, sell for $1,050. You just pocketed $50, actually 70 when you count the 2% rewards for buying. So I'm going to start through my eBay vault buying auctions from Probstein, from James, from wherever, and then just literally flipping them into buy it nows. One thing I've run into though is it's Monday, the auction and Sunday. I place all my bids on Monday, Tuesday, whenever. I get messages from people like, hey, I see that you're bidding on this. And how do they see that? Because they go into the bids and they see 22,000 feedback. And there's not too many people with exactly 22,012 feedback or whatever I have. So I'm gonna have to start sniping now because and some of the people like completely, and I know that at least one of them are watching, and I'm not talking about you. If you've just said like, oh hey, I see you're bidding. I've had people though like, hey, I see you're bidding on this. What's your max? I don't want to bid you up, and I don't want you to bid me up. Like that's wrong. You can't do that. You can't do that. It's a lot of times, and I'll end my rant here. You guys can chime in. A lot of people are just like, F the man, F the corporations. I'm a little guy. I can do whatever I want because they're all robbing me. So why don't I rob them back? That's the way a lot of people see it. But that not on the same page with me, I guess. Anything to add on all that, on Oak's comment, my whole rant there?
I will say real quick, there back in the day, I remember this has happened a couple of times where there's like a rare like pop 1 Charizard that pops up, like a niche one that not a lot of people know about it. And then I will check the bids. This was back in the day. I could tell TCA Gaming was bidding on it. And I was like, oh, all right, I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to like put up a fight against this dude. So won't even try on that one. So I thought that was funny when you said that.
I guess it depends on like if you're talking like, I don't know, like I guess like if the person reaching out to you on Discord saying what's your max bid, he might be if it's like someone like a friend of yours, like someone you're close to, you could look at it like he's trying to save you money by not going up to your max bid. So
that's what they're doing. But that's not right though. That's not in the spirit of an auction.
It's
that's
not right,
like,
but it's not as bad as shill bidding.
Yeah, I don't see it as bad as shill bidding. I can see that.
I don't think they're the same.
Like, what would you say if we got together and said, okay, we're gonna bid on James's auctions. Which cards do you want? Which card should I go after? Is that wrong? We're working together to get the lowest prices.
If we're intentionally structuring our bids to dampen the price, like I think that's not as wrong. I mean, it's not explicitly. Well, I don't even know. I've not read the eBay terms of service cover to cover, and I'm sure no one in here has. I feel like that would be a violation of eBay terms of service at some point. I know that in our Discord, actually, we have an auction listing discussion thing. I was hesitant to put it in there because I've seen in other Discords like, hey, I'm the high bidder on this, or hey, I'm going to be bidding. Like I've just seen so many times where people are like trying to get a deal, trying to like suppress other people's bidding. To me, that's just like, that's blatantly wrong. You can't really collude. I know it happens. It happens probably way more, well, as much more or less, I don't know more or less, but as much often as shill bidding does. And shill bidding is kind of like the opposite of that. Like they're the same thing, just in opposite directions, in my opinion. And neither of them are right. But people are so blasé about it all. Like people are so, who cares? It only serves to benefit me. So that's why I do it. The same justification shill bidders have for shill bidding is the justification that these price colluders, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's the same argument, just the opposite side. It's the counterbalance to the argument.
I don't know. I don't see it as bad. I don't see the second half as being as bad.
See, these are the conversations though, like
your own stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
These are the conversations that I really like because with shill bidding, I mean, per eBay terms of service, not the eBay terms of service, not that even law. Like law isn't the highest moral standard in all the land. Like there are so many things over the history of humanity where things have been legally done that were just abhorrent, terrible. Like we're not gonna. So it's not like eBay terms of service are the highest moral thing in the land. But it is interesting to have these discussions about like morality and where there's a lot of it just in areas of gray and shades of gray. But I get uncomfortable when people message, and I'm like, my answer is always like, if I'm gonna bid on this thing, I'm gonna bid irrespective of what you say or what you do. Like I'm a vendor, I'm a flipper, evil flipper, scalper business, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna just bid a percentage of what I think I can sell it for. Like I'm gonna try to make my couple $100. I'm gonna try to make my 50, whatever the number is. And I don't want to talk to people about live auctions before they end. because it's just wrong. If you have a conversation with someone about an active auction and your only intent is to get the item cheaper, or conversely, to increase the item, those are both wrong.
So do you think we just should, no one should talk about auctions at all while they're going on? Like, can't talk about it?
Oh, if people want to, like, hey, I mean, if people want to have conversations about, like, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was gonna say, like, there's definitely times where two people are going after like a certain like set of cards, and someone will post that whole set. Okay, so then those two people those two people are going after the same cards. So they'll probably, if they know each other and they're in communication with each other, I can imagine they'll get together and say, okay, to avoid us outbidding each other, let's each grab half the cards. And so that way we're able to get the cards at a reasonable price, and not compete with each other on these same cards. I don't know if I see that as necessarily being as wrong. I can see that as being okay. Because you're not, I don't know, you're not bidding on your own card to artificially inflate the price. You're just working with another collector to save money. The seller's still going to sell the cards, maybe not for as much.
To artificially, you're doing the same thing in reverse. It's the same thing in reverse. I don't
see it as being the same.
And I do primarily buy it now auctions, but I do occasionally get people to
You do primarily buy it now auctions?
Buy it now sales, buy it now listings. I do buy it now consignments. Occasionally, though, people will want me to auction their stuff. And I got a new phone like in January, couple months now. I have not gone in yet. I still need to. Like my phone's going off right now with people string bidding. And you can get really deep with string bidding and all these different things. My phone still gets alerts when bids happen. I don't run many auctions, so it's like not broken my phone yet. If James ever did that, like his phone would just break on Sunday. But the amount of people that just place a bid, and I've actually, as I said, I've been bidding on auctions more to buy auctions, sell as buy it nows. The amount of people, like when my max bid on Wednesday for an item ending Sunday has been like, say my max bid was $2K and it's at $1,000. The amount of times that I see my phone go, your new max bid is $1,050, $1,100, $1,150, $1,200,
yeah.
And like, I've not been one to buy into the argument too much about like, oh, you should snipe because it prevents people from. I'm seeing it as much or maybe more than ever. I know Rusty just made a video recently I listened to this morning where he talked about using Gixxon, and I'm going to have to break down and do it now. I'm going to have to break down and do it because it does just, one, it opens myself up to being identified. Oh, well, I know Dan is a reseller. I see his bid there, 22,000 feedback. He's only going to bid 80% probably. So if I bid 80, 81%, like I'm going to beat him. Me using Gixxon, me sniping in the last few seconds. And that's where, honestly, like, I'm not a big auction guy, but Golden, Heritage, they do it better than eBay. They do it. One, it's anonymous. And some people would say, oh, well, that leaves it open for people interfering, people, because you can't be detective. You can't be found out that way. I think it's better. I think it's better because it allows anonymity. I think anonymity, like the fact that I can't bid on any auction without someone knowing it's me, that's just weird. And then eBay not actually actioning, not actually preventing shill bidders and all these things from creating new accounts. I think Golden, Heritage, PWCC, I think they do a better job with that. So overall, and then as the selling platform, as the consignment house, their goal, I mean, their customer is their main, what's the fiduciary duty is towards the consigner. Like they're trying to get the consigner the most money. And extended bidding, not having this feature where you just need to snipe in the last few seconds, that's actually better. The fact that everyone will see what the highest bid is, get 5, 10, 30, 50 seconds to think about it, and then be able to place a bid again. Like I think that's better in the way of like an auction, to have everyone have a shot at it, be able to think about it, maybe be able to get emotional, throw that emotional bid in, win something, get caught up in the thick of things. So yeah, that's a bunch more rants on the whole shilling, auctions, all these conversations.
Yeah, I do agree. I wish eBay had that extended timer, but the whole doing adding more whatever it would be, like measures to prevent people from creating new accounts and all that. I don't think it's possible with like all these auctions houses are big, but they're so small compared to how big eBay is. And I just think it'd be a lot tougher for eBay to implement stuff like Heritage and Golden and PWCC, all of those places do. It would be a lot tougher for them to do that.
And I will say I did a little bit of side Googling while we were having all those conversations. Bid rigging and bidding rings, they are actually covered by the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890. Those are, I couldn't find anything very quickly in the eBay terms, but I'm sure they're probably there. It is illegal. It is wrong. It is a non-competitive violation of fair market trust. The way that they actually describe it, like in further terms on Google, is Investopedia. Actually, people will collude. It's like, say you take the 10 highest flippers in Pokemon. 10 if they had like a conversation amongst them, a group chat. Hey, you see that PSA 10 first edition Charizard? You see that whatever the card is? Let's win it together. Like, we'll win it together for, like, none of us will put in our max. One of us will put in the max bid. No one will bid them up. And then what they do is they sell it together, and then everyone, like, splits the profits of what they bought it at suppressed versus what they're able to sell it at unsuppressed. It's, to me, like, maybe it's not as wrong. Maybe it's not as clear. It's the same thing in the opposite direction. It's just as bad. It's just as wrong.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's just as bad or just as. He's a little bit less bad, a tiny bit,
because it helps you.
I don't do it though.
And then also, you're not. It's not like stuff is gonna sell for ridiculously cheap now. People are still gonna bid that.
Yeah, you're not the only people bidding on it.
$1,000 item to $100 item.
Well, you're just not. You're not bid rigging well enough.
100 and 1,000.
So Nick, so here's actually a very good test of what Nick's saying. If I went into your eBay Live and I said, hey, there's 50 of us in here, and Nick's gonna run 50 items. I get item 7, Brad gets item 8, John gets item 9. We all bid $1. First one that bid $1, no one bids. No one bid on anything. We're all going to get one card tonight for $1 each. That's what bid rigging is.
It's not going to work because
it's not going to work.
People aren't going to. You're not going to know what cards you're getting, and people are going to want certain cards that I put up that you're supposed.
And you're not the only 3 people in the live. There's other people.
What I'm saying,
I've done something similar where I've told people, okay, I have this lot for $50. I'm going to add an endless amount of cards until one person says they want that lot. But until one person says they want that lot, I'm going to keep adding cards. So
that's a different. That's just the kind of auction.
And not say you want that lot, the more I'm going to give you guys.
That's similar to a Dutch auction where the price starts high, comes down until someone buys it. But what could happen? And I've been to silent auctions. I actually love all the different types of auctions there are. Like I've read a lot about, I wouldn't say I've studied them or anything, but there are so many different kinds of auctions, and a lot of them are very ripe for collusion. I've actually been, the Steins behind me. I've been at silent auctions where Steins were, and I've had people come up to me like, oh, hey, I want XYZ. I want those ones. I'm going to bid this. Like what, just so that we don't bid each other up. Like, and I don't do that. But I know in practice, you're never going to get all 50 participants of an eBay Live to actually agree on the same thing and like collude effectively. But in theory, if I were to be in your chat, I mean, one, Mr. Walrus would ban me, or if it wasn't me, it was someone else. If I said, hey, there's 50 of us and Nick has 50 items, let's all take one item each for $1 a piece. That's what bid collusion is. You wouldn't allow that in your eBay Live. If someone started saying, you don't bid, or like, hey, say that I did, I'll get the last one. Brad, you get the first one, nobody bid. Hey, you get the second one, nobody bid. That's not right. Like it would be suppressing your prices. It would be trying to collude in a way to screw you out of your money and to get everyone getting cheap items artificially. That's what it is. That's like, I think a lot of times it helps the thought. It helps take it to the extreme. Take it to the extreme. A very small restricted auction. You can definitely have a massive effect. You can have a massive effect. I've been in box breaks. I've been in, and no colluding involved, but I've been in box breaks on Whatnot years ago, back when like John was doing some, and a lot of times there were the same few names. There were the same few names up the top near every pack. And if a few of them started colluding together, the average pack price would probably go down by like $50, $80, like significantly. And you can't do that.
I
Cut and dry. Cut and dry.
No. I see that one as different. I see that one as different.
I do too.
Because there's going to be a price where it's stupid not to bid, and you're not going to have people saying, "Okay, I won't bid. I won't bid on this $50 card."
Dan's living in fantasy land.
Yeah, but if you say like, right, you're a bigger eBay live streamer. Say that eBay Live opens up to more people. Say that somebody starts streaming it and there's like literally 5 people, and you just know all 5 people. Say it's me, Brad, Nick, 2 other people we know. I text everybody on the side. Somebody texts everybody on the side. You could absolutely get people to agree to just like, hey, let's all get $5 cards tonight.
But you're going too deep into it. What me and Nick were talking about earlier, you're like, you've gotten so deep into it.
Taking it to the extreme.
People together.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Hobby now.
You're starting to get evil now, but like.
But a lot of these niche items, a lot like when a PSA 10 first edition Neo Genesis Lugia goes up for sale, there are not 1,000 bidders for that. Like I could probably name a lot of those higher tier cards. I could probably name 5 of the top 10 bidders on them. Any of us probably could. And when small amount of people start colluding, like it can have drastic effects. It can have very drastic effects. I don't know. We don't need to keep going on. Clearly I'm on one opinion, and then these two are on the anti-competitive market side. let me catch up with chat. Let's see. The times that Ponga's won $1, Nick always thought it was a glitch. It's actually just his chat effectively colluding against him.
Yeah.
Here we go. Bidmonbay, do unto others as you would like done unto you, or whatever. The golden rule.
It is fair.
I think it's pretty cut and dry. But that's what makes it interesting, right? The fact that we're not all on the same page on everything. It's interesting to me how I see it as like, it's equal but opposite acts. It's literally the same act but on opposite sides. One on the buying side, one on the selling side. Selling side, ooh, naughty, bad. I don't like that. That is wrong. Go to jail. Buying side, fair game. It's the same thing, opposite sides.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I still don't think it's the same. I still don't think it's the same.
How do you reconcile that? It's the same thing.
I still think it's bad. I just said it's not as bad as shield bidding. I still think it's bad, but
because one makes number bigger. Number bigger's bad. I mean, normally number bigger's good, but number bigger's bad. Number lower, fine. I don't know how you I don't know how you reconcile those two beliefs, holding those beliefs together that are, in my eyes, like at direct odds with each other. And again, I'm sure a lot of the chat is probably talking about this right now, so I'll try to bring up some interesting comments if people have any, and then we can go on to the next thing.
Yeah, thanks, Oak.
Appreciate you, Oak. No, like I actually really enjoy like debate is interesting and fun, like respectful debate. I don't hate Nick and Brad. I don't think they're evil people. I just think it's interesting how, in my mind, these two beliefs couldn't be held simultaneously. They feel at odds, but and there's probably things that I hold. There's probably things that if we delve deep into the right thing, maybe something about mowing lawns or maybe something about barbecue, like I might hold two beliefs that are at direct odds with each other too. I don't know.
So here's a question I got real quick. So say your friend hits you up, and this is a friend, close friend, and don't lie, Dan, don't lie. And he says, "Hey, are you bidding on this?" What do you say?
And I will say, like, I've been in this for 10 years now. This is my 10th year. 2014 is when I got back. There's probably a time early on where people have messaged me and I've been like, "Oh, I was going to, but I'm not gonna now." Like, you can have it. Like, I don't have that good of a memory. There were probably times where I've engaged with it. Like, maybe, I mean, 54 people are watching. Maybe
You're guilty too,
500,000
Dan.
people will watch.
You're guilty.
Someone might. Maybe I'll be on Rattle next week because somebody digs up some DM. Like, I can't say that I've never done it, but being in the public eye more, being people. I mean, people are like, I've only been bidding for 10 days, a week and a half. I've been bidding on auctions through ZNG, through DC Sports, through Probstein. I've had at least 5-6 DMs from people like, "Oh, hey," some people, very, very innocent, very, very innocent. Like, "Oh, hey, I see you're bidding on that. Like, good luck. But some people are like, "What's your max? What are you thinking? I'll hold my bid," or maybe you hold your bid on the next, like, and so over the years, there may have been a time that I would have engaged in that. I genuinely don't remember specifically ever doing it. But these days, it's like, I'm just not going to discuss. I'm going to start sniping. I think I have active bids for this coming Sunday. Starting Sunday onwards, I'm only going to snipe. I'm not going to discuss anything. If people message me, I'm not engaging. I'm not talking. Whether it's Nick, whether it's, I don't care who it is.
You don't engage anyway.
To me, it's wrong. You can't do that. You can't, like.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
But it's a very interesting conversation. Market manipulators never see it as wrong.
Oh.
Your average player is bullish on that like button. Feel free to slap that like button, maybe hit that subscription, ring the bell if you haven't. I will never outbid myself or a homie. Sorry, not sorry. So Basic is a big buy-side colluder. I hope he doesn't get mad about chilling if he's happy about bid fixing from the buying side. If no one has reached out to price collude on auctions, am I bidding on cash? Your feedback score isn't like unique enough. The thing is, like, I'm sure James is way higher than mine. I think Nick's is way higher than mine. Rusty. 21,000 is probably quite the standout thing. Like, if you see anywhere from zero always stands out, and I think tons of people miss the mark on their shill bid detective work, because I sell to zero feedback buyers all the time. They buy, they pay, I ship. Now their zero's a 1. New people sign up on eBay all the time. Maybe it's people's alts, maybe it's whatever thing going on. I never do shill bid detective work. I auction a thing. If it gets paid, I ship. And honestly, I think I texted James about this, or maybe I mentioned it in Discord. If I was James, I wouldn't have even caught that. I highly likely, like, I never look at bids. I never, like, go in. I know somebody up here earlier said, like, people were weird for looking at bids and messaging me about it and stuff, but
I think the only reason he caught it was because someone reached out to him about it. He was saying someone on that forum. I highly doubt he's over there looking at bids himself.
If someone explicitly said, like, I have reason to believe that your auction, this one right here, I think I would investigate it then. So that's a different conversation. But, like, if something just happened naturally, like, I do not, even on my own items I win or win or lose, I don't investigate it. Like, when I win, I pay. A lot of people go back and it's like, "Oh man, I won bid increment, or I got bid up to my max." I actually get messages all the time from people on eBay for the few auctions that I do. In the last 1 second, somebody bid me up to my max. I don't want to pay because I think you shilled me up. It's like, I have no effing clue what you're talking about. Like, you want it, pay it. I'm not, like, maybe someone did show. Like, I have no idea. Is it a zero feedback? I've had people message me like, "What's the username?" I see that they had this many feedback. They bid me up in the last second. I'm like, one, they're using Gixen. They're using sniping. Like, that's just what they do. I'm going to start doing it too.
I'm surprised you don't.
Why do you now?
Do you use it, Nick?
Yeah, I don't know how
A ton of
anyone
people
does
have
it.
for years.
And putting your bid
My
in
opinion,
5 days in advance.
my opinion has always
No.
been like, I put in a price I'm comfortable to pay. Sure, I'm probably gonna get shilled up here. Like whatever. If I win, I pay. I put in a number that I'm willing to pay, and it's no issue. But more and more with all this bid detective work, with all this like people trying to collude with me, it's like I have to snipe. There's no way around it. I'll probably make a video talking about it at some point. As I mentioned, I'm not gonna ride the drama wave. I'm not gonna call out Beta P Trader, but I'll address it to some extent where I am drastically changing my auction style by necessity. One thing I like about Heritage, one thing I like about Golden, PWCC, you're just bidding. You're just bidding, and it's all private. It's all like there's no. It would be harder to collude because you don't know anyone on the other side. And people, there are so many claims out there. Like, wait until James is big enough. James will have so many of those different forum articles written about him, like Probstein. Google Probstein, look at his eBay feedback. So many people constantly talk about shilling. I have never met Rick Probstein in my life. I may never. Rick Probstein is not shilling his listings. 99, like, what is going on is consigners are doing it. People that own the same card that's being consigned, trying to just get a big comp so that they can sell their own card. Rick Probstein is not shilling cards, but every forum you look at, everything, if you auction enough stuff, same things about Heritage, same things about Golden, same things about PWCC. These people are not shilling their own stuff. They're not like, but a lot of it's going on. And maybe there could be complaints about they should do more to police it. I actually saw in James' video, someone, and Cam commented on it in the comments. Somebody was like, oh, well, you only did this because they're rich and they have $50,000 cards and blah, blah, blah. You're not doing this on the $50 card. Of course he's not doing it on the $50 card. In a given week, James sells 2,000 cards. Say the average card gets 20 bids. Probably higher than that if I had to guess. But you think he's going to go through and manually look at and vet 40,000 bids every week? Like, what are we talking about?
No.
People are just... The amount of takes that come out, like I know Brad will say I'm a big drama llama. He'll say
Drama llama.
I think it's just always interesting when the drama happens. One of the most interesting things is just how people react to it and how people comment on it and all that stuff. It's always interesting. It's always illuminating too.
You are a drama llama.
Oh man.
Oh God.
Let's see. Here we go. Bidmon Bays with me. I'm going to try to catch up. I'm like 20 minutes behind in chat now.
Me and Brad too.
I'll find the ones that are with you guys.
You get to silence everyone that's on our side.
I know.
Right?
I don't think I have a way on my end in StreamYard to do it. I don't know if you can increase your thing. I saw that comment a couple times and I forgot to put it up. So Alice in Silverland.
I turned my gain way down for the live, so I just turned it up. Let me know how that is.
Okay, you sound the same to me, but maybe chat will let us know. Alice in Silverland says, Dan, don't buy with the same eBay account you sell on. That is advice you hear a lot in the eBay community. So I used to do that. The issue with that today, most items I'm buying are greater than 250. I want them in my eBay vault. I want to sell them from KetchumAllCollectibles eBay vault, so I have to bid with KetchumAllCollectibles. So unfortunately, that option's not open to me. And then the next thing is like, people will see a 17, like what, I don't even know what my other, I have like a personal eBay for buying non-tax exempt stuff. If I started bidding on another account, people will just learn that feedback score because so, like some of these older PSA 10 multi-$1,000 cards, they'll see the cert that ends in 6.5 sell on Sunday. And then a week later, it will have been bought by 1,000 feedback account, and then a week later it'll be on KetchumAllCollectibles, and then the same thing. Within 2 weeks they'll find out my other feedback score, and then they'll just do. I'll be back to square one. So it's like that's not a solution unless I have 20 eBay accounts and then just
that's a solution. Just create a new eBay account every week
for every bid. I'll always be a zero feedback buyer, and I'll always be a shill then. Oh man. Strong L for Dan on this one. So I see
Let's go.
The line in the sand has been drawn. Choose your sides. Choose your sides. Oh man. Yeah. If you can collude, like you don't have to collude with everybody, but if you can collude with like 5 people that are disproportionately often the way auctions work, the winning bid is always the second highest bidder plus 1 bid increment. So if you can get people that are disproportionately, like, I'm not going to collude with some guy who bids 20% on everything. Like it would be done with 5 people who win a lot of auctions at the very high end. Anyways, oh, I wanted to shout this out too. So Alice in Silverland downloaded Pokemon Smile for their 6-year-old because of your recommendation, and it's a game changer. I did as well. So shout out again to the Slab Podcast. Maybe Walrus can throw a link in chat. Both my kids have been brushing with Pokemon Smile for the past 4 days, maybe. They get so excited about, hey, which Pokemon am I going to catch? The catch can't fail. I don't know how they did it, but both my kids get a Master Ball every day. Not just one Master Ball in the whole game. They get a Master Ball every day, though. So I think last night my son caught Lickitung, and my daughter caught like Diglett or something. I don't remember what they were, but every day they get to catch a different Pokemon that they get to brush, and Charmander's like zapping all the plaque off their teeth, and it's just like an engaging way, and it has a 2-minute timer. I've probably been bad about like brushing them too short, but the timer ensures that I'm doing it the right amount of time. So great. Just had to throw that in there. Oh man. So Nest TCG's on my side. Someone put up a scoreboard. I got 2. Nick and Brad have 1. So I guess we're tied 3-3. Dan's been asked to leave from all silent auctions since he can't stay quiet. I don't know if you've ever been in one of those. Have you ever done a silent auction? It's where like
is it where they leave like
Is that where you just like write your number on a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've won an item for like $500 before, where the second highest bid was like $200. And then there's been times where I've won an item for like $200 that I might have bid 500 on, but I was just taking a stab at it. Like, hey, maybe no one's gonna. So it can go either way. It's an interesting thing though. And then Dutch auctions are where it starts high. Say I have a $500 item, starts at 1,000, and then it comes down from here. And colluding can ruin any type of auction. It's just straight anti-competitive, not fair market. Like, oh man. Oh, does anyone know about like Quibids?
Back in the day,
was another one. Oh man.
That's where you have to pay for the bids, right?
You buy bids.
Yeah.
You buy bids for like $1 a piece or 50 cents a piece, whatever they are. And then every auction starts at a penny. So you like a PlayStation 5 might sell for $10, but $10 is 1,000 pennies. 1,000 bids went into that one PlayStation, and a bid might have cost $1 each. So the auction platform is selling a PlayStation for $10, but each of those bids, like every loser pays $2. So every losing bid costs you $1. I think a lot of legality concerns came up with those, and a lot of, because those are an instance where how do you not know that the platform on the back end is not planting some of their employees, a robotic employee, to just intentionally throw in a bid that they didn't buy for $1, they got it for free. So those kind of auctions are so ripe for bad behavior by the platform itself.
Yeah.
So
that sounds scammy.
I know they used to be like late night TV ads. You'd be watching TV, like I'd be watching South Park at like 11:30 at night, and it'd be like Quibids, buy this flat screen TV for $3, buy this PlayStation for $5. And I looked into it because I'm like, what's going on here? Like this cannot be real. It's kind of real, but it's mostly not. It's just a different way of gambling, right? Like, it's interesting though. Oh man. Yeah, and this I just listened to I listened to so much Pokemon content. Just this morning, I listened to PK's live from the other night. I don't know if it was last night's or the one like last week because I was a little bit behind. He talked about Standard Oil monopoly busting. Standard Oil could basically set whatever price they wanted on anything because they had a monopoly. They owned, like, that's anti-competitive because they could just charge whatever they wanted for something people needed. And yeah, like It's the same thing, just the other side. I feel like it's easier to get on the anti big corporation, anti prices going up, colluding by like the sellers. But on the buyer side, people can outright say, like, if you go to a convention, and this is another like moral type discussion. If someone goes to a convention and steals from Nick's booth, Brad's booth, my booth, people will universally say that's wrong, that's bad. But then people will justify going and buying stuff from Walmart, taping it up, sealing it, to screw over the corporation, screw over the man. Like, I am very against all that stuff. But people are not like consistent. People are, when you change your morals based on who the victim is, that just doesn't jive for me. So Basic's just completely outing himself as a bid rigger, a member of a bidding ring. Oh man!
Thank you, Basic.
He knows. He knows.
Basic. What if it's a homie selling the card though too? So here, Brad's selling the card. You and Oak are both bidding on it. Do you collude with Oak that indirectly, well, directly screws over Brad? Like that would be my question to Basic. I know we're like 15 minutes behind chat here, but Basic, if it's Probstein, if it's nameless, faceless, mega corporation, Rick Probstein has enough money. The man's ripping like T206 packs or he's ripping those cigarette packs trying to get the T206. Man's wilding out here. But say Nick's the seller in an eBay Live. Will you collude with Oak against Nick? Will you collude with Oak against Brad? I don't think you should collude with Oak against anybody. That's my take. Red Light Dan for sure. Java hates extended bidding. Java's primarily a buyer in those things. Like I from a lot of perspectives, I like eBay auctions because I'm generally a buyer. I took a year-long break from them, maybe a 2-year-long break. I haven't bought many, but I'm going to be buying more. So a lot of people will just like the side that benefits them more, right? Like I don't like it, extended things because and especially with Heritage and Golden and stuff, those I just place my bid and I go away. I don't watch the end of the auction. I don't care. Nice thing there, I know I can't be Gixened. I can't be sniped. I just put in my max bid and I win or I lose. I used to treat eBay the same way, but all this string bidding, all this bid fixing, all this colluding, like I'm just gonna have to Gixen.
Yeah. Bidding at the end is definitely the way to go for eBay.
We need Judge Judy. Here's an interesting one. People are moral if they can afford to be. I'm guessing KetchumAll has the most money on this panel.
Oh,
Stings.
That gets into the whole, like, if you want to take, I've heard this conversation. It's actually more of an interesting conversation. I talked about an example where someone steals cards from my table versus, like, more people universally would say, like, don't steal cards from Dan's table. No one needs cards. Cards are a luxury good. Theft is wrong. But now when you steal it from Walmart, more people are like, screw the corporation, blah, blah, blah. You don't get everyone on your side, but you get more. Now, if you change Pokemon cards at Walmart to bread at Walmart to feed your family, a very poor family stealing bread. Like, I understand that there, again, we're like, gray is not one uniform color. There's shades of gray. So it's less immoral, or it's more just for a very poor family that has no other way. But like, my initial reaction would be, at least where I live, I don't know where everyone lives. I don't know everyone's situation, blah, blah, blah. There are like food pantries. There are places to get help, get food, get stuff for free, and not have to steal from, whether it's the corner shop or whether it's Walmart or whether it's whatever, farmer's market. So I understand what you're saying, Tristan, that stealing bread from Walmart to feed your family is less immoral than stealing Pokemon cards from Brad at a convention, but it's still wrong, and there's still better ways. Like getting pretty deep for a PokeFlipz, but I'm here for it. Anything to add?
I don't think we're ever going to see eye to eye on that.
I literally only viewed
the extreme and say you have this network of 100 people. Okay, then it's different. But if
There's only two bidders. Only two bidders factor into the final price.
Where you have 2 or 3 people, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Only 2 bidders factor into the final price.
Yeah, but
you only need a couple high-end people.
Many other bidders who are going to come close to that price.
I just didn't see a problem asking a buddy, hey, are you bidding on this card? Just curious. I don't see a problem with that. I don't know about all this other crazy stuff that y'all
if someone wants to, if people say like, hey, did you see that auction? Like, oh yeah, I'm going to be going for it. But the second you start doing like, I'm going to be going for it, well, let's compare max bids so that we don't like just the one of us who has the higher max bid can go in. And then sometimes people probably try to collude and then it doesn't work because it's like, oh, well, I'm going 1,700. You're only going 1,600. So you don't bid. Well, they bid 1,700 and then they get beat for 1,800 anyways. And then it didn't matter, but it was still wrong. Even though it didn't influence the outcome, it was still wrong. That's my whole point. Not even that it's just wrong, that it's exactly wrong for the same reasons as shill bidding is on the opposite side. Like these things are the opposite ends of the same teeter-totter.
That I don't see that. I don't see that.
How are they not? I mean, one is
shilling
high.
Shilling is I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Shilling is colluding.
I feel like shilling is like specifically stated and easy to find that it's against eBay policy, whereas this whole collusion thing is not. I don't think that's as easy to find. I think that alone says it's not.
So Nick needs for Nick's morals to work. Nick needs it codified in eBay terms of service. eBay terms of service is the highest level of morality in Nick's mind.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll look it up. I'll have to look into it more for when I make my ultimate video on it. But I'm looking. Really
if eBay's cool with it, it's good to go. We're good.
It's an interesting thing though, because if shill bidding is, I mean, I don't agree with the justification, but if your justification is like one is legal per eBay TOS and then the other is illegal, I can at least agree with the logic behind like you have some thing that you're putting the responsibility off on. Bid rigging. This is an eBay community post. I'll have to find. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll look into it.
Those eBay community posts. They should just get rid of those things. They're always like the first or second result on Google, and they are never helpful.
Occasionally someone drops a link, the 5th comment down, and it gets you exactly where you have to go, but usually not at all.
Yeah, I will say this, Dan. You always talk like you got a police officer like standing in front of you, like watching everything you're saying.
Oh man,
I can see it. If you turn his camera over, there's a cop right next to him.
Snorlax is watching me from the other side, and I don't want Snorlax to judge me. I gotta get the Snorlax cam fired back up. I don't have that fired up. Let's see. Has Brad been getting cooked by Dan the whole live?
No. Hey, I've been throwing in my jabs here and there. All right.
Brad, we need the good KO punch.
Team Dan, Walrus counts for 3 people.
Walrus counts as like a half a person.
Brokemon wants to know, have you ever placed a bid, then spent the next 30 seconds praying you get outbid?
Yeah.
I will say, like, collector boy Dan back in the day, a lot of things that I say that I don't do, I'll never do. I've done them in the past. Like, I used to, when I was building that PSA 9 set of all the WotC cards, I used to bid. I remember I needed that Expedition Wheezing, and I was bidding on that one, and I was like, I used to watch things like a hawk. I used to manually bid. I actually commented on, again, PK's video from the other night. He was like 5 minutes into his live. He was looking down on his phone. He's like, oh, man, I missed placing the bid. It's like, PK, Gixon. Ever heard of it? Look it up. Look it up, PK. You're going to get on Gixen. I'm going to get on Gixen. Manually sniping. Today, the thought is like mind-blowing to me, but I can't say I didn't do it 8 years ago because I definitely did. I definitely used to manually snipe from time to time. And I used to get wrapped up into auctions too. Like auctions, definitely, if you feel like you need it, you need to know that you don't need any of this stuff. These days, though, I'm more like cold-hearted, business Dan, robotic. Like I will pay 70%, 80%, 90%, depending on the card. I just put in my thing and I'm done and I'm gone and I don't care and I don't look. I just pay and it's over. But I used to do a lot more of that detective work and this and that. And I'm just not about it these days. Tristan goes further than I go. I'd make the argument that shill bidding is more moral than colluding to suppress bids. The seller doesn't lose money when you shill, and the buyer's still paying their own bid. Interesting.
It's an interesting way to put it. I mean, it's right.
The seller loses a sale.
Yeah, I mean, the
Unless
seller
you pay.
wastes their
If it's
time.
paid. If it's paid. So,
Yeah,
so the caveat to this.
I don't agree with that.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I just wanted to put it up. I think they are the same act, just on different sides. So I see them equally. Ponga loves big companies and he hates small businesses. He will steal from the mom and pop and then go put it on Walmart's shelf so Walmart can sell. Oh man. Mr. Walrus talking about scanning the TV as 3 pounds of bananas. I don't know, man. You see how cheap TVs these are these days? I think 3 pounds of bananas might be right up there about the same price.
No. Bananas are cheap.
Expensive.
TVs are so cheap though. Like I still remember when my dad, it was a 42-inch Olevia flat screen TV. It was like $12 or $1,500 way back then and that was like a deal. And I remember we had that TV for like 10 years. It broke. I YouTubed how to fix it. And I think my sister might still have that TV somewhere in her house. Maybe not. But TVs these days, I just upgraded a couple of my grandparents' TVs. Like a 50-inch smart TV, $250, $230, like crazy. It is crazy how cheap TVs are now. Not quite bananas, but let's see. So Basic Trainer is admitting to colluding in my active auction. So I have an auction right now today on actually, no, it's not. No, I was thinking it was a Pikachu. It's a Squirtle. I have a McDonald's Squirtle. So maybe he's not colluding on that. I don't know. But yeah, so he will, I guess he'll side with the buying homie. He'll always screw over the selling side homie. Or maybe just because it's me. I'm still unclear on where Basic is exactly. I don't know if he's screwing me over because it's me. In my hypothetical, I think I proposed Brad as the seller. But he will screw over me. Maybe he won't screw over Brad. Maybe it's because I have too many sales, too many feedback. I'm still lost on where Basic is on his moral compass. Nick, you use Gixen or?
Yeah. Yep. Shout out to Rusty. He's been like the #1 promoter of Gixen for years. I don't know how you haven't hopped on earlier.
I've been aware of it for like several years. I know. I think Jake uses like Easy Sniper. I know Jake uses one. He uses a different one though. I've looked into I've been on Gixen's website. I've looked into it years ago. You used to have to give them your login credentials. I don't think you do anymore. I think you go through and you log into eBay through Gixen. I think that they get permissions to place bids for you, but they don't actually see and get your password. Whereas when I first looked, I want to say one of my big hesitations was like, I don't want to give this company my login credentials to eBay. And then I've just been stubborn for so long since. I don't know. Brad, you don't use snipers?
Nah, I don't. I just do the old manual way.
You do the proxy bid. Do you place it like manually sniping within the last couple minutes, or do you just like you see it on Tuesday, it ends on Sunday, you place your bid on Tuesday?
I mean, there's really no like method to the madness. Sometimes I'll put like my final bid on stuff, days out, and then sometimes I'll try to like snipe it at the last minute. It just depends on what it is, really. But
guys are a bunch of boomers over here.
I don't know. I've never found the need to use it. Like, I'm able to still win stuff on auction just the old-fashioned way. I don't need bots to do it for me.
I do now. I need a fellow robot. I need to enlist the help of a fellow robot to help me not be brought into moral gray areas. Around and around we go. So someone save us from this endless loop with a new question to get us out of this shilling talk.
More questions. That question was like an hour and a half ago.
But yeah, this was my point at one point about 30 minutes ago. Just because it's not against policy doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah. I was joking
the extreme example. The extreme example, and I won't give specific examples, but like there have been many things done in the history of humanity that were like sponsored by law, that they were formally allowed by law explicitly, and they were very wrong and bad. And law is not the highest judge of morality, and certainly eBay terms of service are not the highest judge of morality, in my opinion, at least.
I'm living on the eBay terms of service page.
Nick sleeps with the eBay terms of service as a pillow under his pillow. I think we have someone trying to save us here, so we'll see if that works.
Please.
Oh, this is one that was way earlier, but I wanted to bring up. Watching from the beginning, and Brad just mentioned his little YouTube channel, yet he has more subs than the other two on the podcast. So when I talked this week, I think I teased it last week in my live that Brad would be our guest. Multiple people reached out to me and they're like, finally, been waiting for Brad. Like, how could you not have had him? What Nick and I were doing, like we're two tiny channels. I mean, sub 5K. This podcast has what, like 1,500. Brad's got over 10K subs. We were trying to get up to his level before we asked to have him on, but he graciously came on our tiny, minuscule channel and trying to get us to take off, trying to get us on that pump, that chilling up that sub count. Oh man. Here we go. What did you learn from Dallas Collecticon for OSP and Brad? Dan needs a break from yapping. Amen. Amen.
You want to go first, Nick?
Oh God, you're gonna put me on the spot. I
can go first.
We were talking about earlier. I really did. You weren't here, Grimer, but I really did enjoy walking around. That was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure how it would go walking around, but I did really enjoy that. As far as what I learned, something I learned. I guess I kind of knew it to some extent, but Sunday afternoon is definitely the time to buy. You're not gonna be getting many deals during the day on Saturday. Even Sunday morning, people still like to hold out, but Sunday afternoon is definitely the time to be walking around buying stuff. That's when people do want to wheel and deal, and I guess just being like personable, not strictly business. There were definitely times, I'm not saying to be fake with everyone, but where I would go up to a booth and say, hey, are you guys willing to negotiate on anything? And he'd go, oh, not really. So I'd say, okay, look around at what he has in case there's anything that I would be willing to pay more for, or if there's anything that's underpriced. And we'd get into like a conversation. How's the show going? How long you been into Pokemon? All this stuff. And there were a few times where after talking to these people, they would say, hey, if you're interested in these particular cards, I could knock 20-30% off. I'm not really, these don't really move well for me, whatever. So yeah, just kind of being friendly with people. and not just being strictly business. That was something that got me a few smaller additional purchases.
Yeah, I learned there's a dude I can take all my stuff to at the end of the show, and he'll buy it all. So that's pretty helpful.
There you go. I talked about it in my hour-long video, but a lot of people came up to me, and maybe Nick, the vendors that you talked to had the same initial reaction. A lot of people are like, "Are your prices firm?" Broadly, vaguely, and I would generally just default to yes, because I was worried that they were going to try to talk down my very well priced, highly liquid stuff that I knew was going to sell out. But if people came to me with like, I'm offering, same thing for eBay. If people say, what's the lowest you'll take? Are you open to offers? Like, don't do that in message one. Say like, I want this card for this much money. If you get specific, now we can have a conversation. But I also did like mention in my live that I might have to be a little bit different in my pricing. Like some people just, I think, need to win just to win, regardless of comps, regardless of how well the card is priced. They cannot and will not pay sticker because they will feel like they're losing. Even if stickers 20% below fair market price, last or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Some people just need to pay less than sticker. Otherwise they lost. So it's a very interesting, like trying to optimize for all the different personalities, all the different like psychologies out there around money and around negotiation. And it's very, very interesting how different everyone is and different takes and different strategies and stuff. Basic says, why does Brad G not want to hang out with me and he lives right down the road? It might be because of your shaky morals. Must be, maybe.
Do you guys actually live right next to each other?
So I think he lives on the other side of town. San Antonio's pretty big. Like, he could live potentially up to 45 minutes away from me, but we still both live in San Antonio, if that makes sense.
And you guys aren't getting together for lunch?
I mean, we were supposed to meet up at like a local card show a while back. I went and then it was just a stinker, so I left like right after.
E-Unit Stunk Doggin is tuning in from 40,000 feet. LA Collecticon bound. Love to see it. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for tuning in. And Grimer, actually, what we were just talking about, I think Jake was pricing his raw a touch above market for that reason. Makes a lot of sense from my experience. That's what I do. The issue is there is no universal way to win with everybody because everyone is so different. It's an impossible to win game because there are certain people that have to win. Like whatever you put on sticker, no matter how reasonable the price, they will not pay it. They will only buy it if they win, regardless of historical sales data. If a card sold 20 times the past year for 1,000 and you have it priced at 900, they won't win unless you sell it to them for 850. They won't. And then the same card, maybe it was priced at 1050. They would have paid 1,000 if it was listed at 1050. Yeah. But they won't pay 1,000 because it's listed for 1,000. So certain people though, on the other side of that, this is like as a seller trying to get into the psychology of everyone. There are certain people that just come up and pay full sticker, or they don't pay full sticker. They will never negotiate. They will never communicate. Negotiating makes them uncomfortable. I actually know a lot of people like this in my real life. Like these past couple of years with the pandemic and all that, like going into a car dealership, if you 5 years ago were paying sticker on any car, you were probably getting kind of wrecked because they have so much profit margin, so much wiggle room. These days, it's a different landscape. But some people, they just don't negotiate. They feel uncomfortable. If it's listed for 1,000, they'll either pay 1,000 or they won't. If they like, there are probably every convention you have ever sold at. There's probably people that if your sticker prices were 5 or 10% lower, you would have made a sale, but you'll never know about it because they'll never open up their mouths about it. They'll never say anything. I would have paid 1,000, but it's listed at 1,050. I don't want to seem like I'm lowballing. I don't want to make the guy mad. Social awkwardness, whatever it may be. So there are arguments like it's not like one is universally right and the other is universally wrong. It all depends on your buyer, and you never know who's going to be on the other side. The only thing you do know, like across the weekend, across hundreds of people coming to your table, you're going to have people on both sides every convention. So pick a spot and run with it. There's no like I made a video a few weeks ago called "There's no shortcuts." There's no just like do A, B, C, and you will get result D, guaranteed, optimal, perfect every time. It's never that way. It never is. You will have something priced at 10. Someone somewhere else in the convention center will have it at 12, and they'll sell first. They'll sell more. There's no perfect way to do any of it. You just have to know that. And very infrequently do I walk around and like buy much, but occasionally, usually what I'll do is I'll kind of take a glance and I'll find a card that I've sold in the past month or so. And it's like, I just sold this at 5K and the guy's got 6K on it. I stop looking at everything. There's so many tables, there's so many booths. If I see one card that I know is drastically overpriced, I assume everything is overpriced and I just move on. Because I know my time on the buying side is limited. I'm not going to get to every table. So if I see something, one data point that shows that they're overpriced, it's not worth my time to dig too much deeper, and I just move on. So you got to be cautious. You got to take all these things in, pick your strategy, and then just roll with it. And sometimes you might feel better, and sometimes you might feel like it went worse. But lot of luck involved at conventions too on who walks by, and it's fun though.
Another thing, like if I see a card that I'm looking for at the convention, if it doesn't have a price tag on it, I don't even bother with it anymore. I used to, but nowadays, if they don't have prices on their stuff, I don't even bother asking. It's not worth the time.
You need to have pricing on your stuff.
And so many people don't. It's wild. Here we go. Somebody else go first because I'm talking too much again.
When did you feel you were ready for shows? Did you want to start once you built up a good amount of inventory, or did you build up inventory to do shows? I think for me it was just kind of knowing that I would like them. Because I would always back in the day I would always go to coin shows with my dad. And so I really liked talking with people about coins and selling people coins and negotiating with people and all that in-person stuff. So once Collecticon started, I knew that I wanted to go and kind of experience the vending side of card shows. And so luckily for me, the first one that I went to, me and Gem Mint Pokemon, actually we split a table, so we each had one case, which was at the time I could have had more, because obviously the first Collecticon was 2021, I believe. Yeah, it must have been 2021. And so I'm already full time with Pokemon, so I already have a good bit of inventory. So the inventory wasn't so much a concern, but it was nice being able to have a half of a table so that your cost basis isn't very much. All you're really doing is you're paying the flight and the hotel and all that stuff. But I don't know. I think where I had that coin experience, I was on board and wanted to try it out and excited for that in-person experience. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's interested. Inventory is a thing if you're wanting to maximize value for the trip, but if you're wanting to just experience it and have a fun weekend and all that stuff, you can kind of go with less inventory. You don't need to have a ton of stuff. Like I think of like PokeChef, what he was saying the other night, where he really wants to go and vend a Collecticon, but he's worried about not having enough inventory. My thing for him would just be, go try it out. If you sell out the first day, you did really good. You sold everything you brought, and you get to experience the other side of Collecticon. So I would say go for it. Obviously, if you have like 10 slabs, I wouldn't do it. But if you have 50 slabs, go for it.
And just to cut in quick before Brad goes on that front, one thing, I guess shouting out ourselves, Nick and I, and people who have bought entire sections and then sublet out the tables. It makes it that much more approachable, that much more easy, because Collecticon only sells 2 tables at a time. Two tables is a lot more daunting, especially if you're 2 tables on an island amongst people that you don't know. Being able to be a part of a section where you know everybody, it makes it that much like lower of a hurdle to get in. And one thing that we try to dissuade, because we've done it in the past and it's tough, people splitting tables. I just had this thought, Nick, as you were talking. Instead of doing a half a table, maybe if 2 people can cooperate, do 1 table, half the convention. Somebody takes Saturday, somebody takes Sunday. Like that could be an arrangement that people would make. It wouldn't run into an issue that we used to have with vendor badges. Like if you start doing too many half tables within a section, you're way short on badges. But my first convention I ever went to, Orlando, in 2020, whenever it was, I went with a backpack of stuff. I took it to a couple of vendors, tried, and then there ended up being like free room on Sunday. So I set up next to Nick. Almost every time I'm picking up early, someone's picking up early. If you just bring some stuff, hang out around the section, you might be able to drop some stuff in a table, in a case somewhere, for part of it, buy for part of it. So yeah, you go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you always leave early on Sunday, so your table's always open that whole day.
Take my spot when I vacate.
Yeah. So the question, I went to like a bunch of shows before I started vending. So, but yeah, like Nick said, you probably need like 50-ish slabs. I would recommend more, but I think a lot of people think that you got to have like 100K of inventory to do one of these shows, and it's like you really don't need all that much. Like you can really get by with a lot less than I think people think.
Yeah, exactly.
That was actually something that, like dollar-wise, I brought the least that I've brought ever to a convention that I vended with a full table for the full duration. I brought the least I've ever brought because of the eBay vault. Like all my good stuff's in the eBay vault, mostly everything greater than 250. Going back to like somebody had asked, what did we learn at Dallas? I think the sub 250 sells better overall. Like not that surprising that the lower end sells better than the mid and high end, because I sold like 95% of what I brought. I mean, by quantity of slabs, more than that. By like actual like value, less than 95%, because I did have like an art academy that I brought that I had no expectation it would actually sell. But yeah, if you're on the fence, like I'm a guy who lives on the fence, and this is a guy who lives on the fence saying, if you are on the fence about going to a Collecticon, take the leap and go and find, like, I'm not going to be at all of them. If I'm there, go find me, say hi. You're going to find a lot of like-minded people. You're going to have a great time, like whether you're buying, whether you're selling. If you don't have a table, like I take a lot of trades. I straight up buy stuff from people sometimes. A lot of sales are made out of backpacks, out of cases, out of strollers that people are pushing around full of cards. Get out there and go, and you'll have a good time.
And that's the other thing, is if you go to vend and you realize, well, after I put all my stuff in the cases, I still have half of a case that's empty that I could fill up. You're gonna have people that come up to the table looking to sell stuff. It's also a really good buying opportunity. So you can buy at the show, price the stuff, and put it in your case. And if it doesn't sell there, then you can bring it home and list it on eBay.
Yeah, there's people that go to these shows with nothing, just to get a table, and then they got like a stack of cash in their thing. They're there just to buy, and then they end up leaving with a whole bunch of stuff. So,
yeah.
Yeah, everyone goes in with different goals. Like if money's super tight for you, and the only way it's gonna make sense is if you need to sell 10K worth of stuff, it definitely, if the money's like that much like tighter, I'm not saying go if it's like gonna financially bankrupt you if you don't end up selling what you need to sell, but it's more it's a great time. Like a lot of us go, it's part business, part pleasure. It's a great time. As crazy as it sounds, selling and buying and stuff, that's like secondary to me in a lot of ways. I usually am talking business with a bunch of people, trying to make connections, and then I'm also just like hanging out with friends too. Every convention, there's a lot of things going on, and selling is just one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I live out in the woods. I'm in the unfortunate spot that there are none like close enough me to drive to. I guess Edison, New Jersey is the closest, like 4 hours. But I don't think there's any, like, you don't need to FOMO into a Collecticon, spend $1,000 on airfare and hotels and this and that and get a whole set. Like, you don't need to FOMO into it. It's not going anywhere. I think Collecticon will be a thing in 10 years. I think Collecticon will certainly be a thing in the next, like, 2025, 2026. So hopefully maybe you live close enough to drive to one. Like, dip your toes in, drive into one, 30 minutes, few hours, 5-6 hours. Like, make a weekend of it. Like, you can get, I don't know what the percentage would be, but probably most people could drive within 6 hours to a Collecticon, drive Saturday morning, get there Saturday afternoon, get a one-night hotel room, go in Sunday, drive home Sunday night. Like, you don't have to take any time off work. Maybe you spend, say, $500 for a night in the hotel, the VIP badges to get in, and then all the gas and stuff. $500 is like what the hurdle is to go and experience, dip your toes in. And then, yeah, see how that goes. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. And if it is, then you go a little bit deeper with the next one, the next year or 2 shows later or whatever. It's great how many there are and how accessible it is. With how many locations they have now, like most people have one they can drive to, I think.
For sure. And if you, I think like splitting the hotel, if you can find a way to do that, that can be really beneficial too. I think people underlook that.
Yep. Nick and I shack up all the time.
Yes. Yep.
He's very cuddly. But yeah, that's and I know Walrus dropped the Discord link earlier. It's a great group of people, and it just makes it that much more easy. I think back to like my first event that I went to of any kind was Nashville Worlds 2018. And it was daunting. It was scary. I remember having those same thoughts. Like I'm a fairly, my wife doesn't believe me every time I say it. She says that I'm very social, very outgoing. I'm an introvert more than an extrovert. I am not super social. I on the internet, like Discord, forums, E4, I had 5,000 posts, but I was like taking a leap. I had that same thought that probably everyone has had to an extent. Like, what if people don't like me? What if I don't like people? What if no one wants to hang out with me? What if there's no one to go get a meal with? What if I'm just sitting in my hotel room alone, eating McDonald's? And like, it's not going to be that way. Like, there are so many kind, awesome people that will, like, it's just so accessible. It's so, like, people are so nice right from the first event to the last one and to the next one. It's, yeah.
Dan, real quick, remember when that one dude, he like walked up to the booth, he like reached out his hand, he's like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of yours," and Dan just gave him one of these, just gave him a head nod.
Wow.
And he like turned away, and he like turned away.
I did not turn down a hand. Brad's fabricating stories. Now I do remember that person. One thing that I'm bad at, like that's me demonstrating right there that I'm like kind of socially awkward in certain instances. I'm kind of introverted. When someone sends me like a hi on eBay, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like it was early in the morning. I had not rested enough. Someone came up and said like, "Hey, I watch your channel." And I just like, my brain just like, and I just like nodded. Like I gave him like the thank you. I heard what you said. I appreciate it. Thank you. But I didn't say thank you. My wife was like, "What are you doing? You got to say like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it." I remember at a past one, there was a time where someone said that, and I'm like, "Oh, well, like, what name do you go by?" And they're just like, "Oh, you wouldn't know because I've never posted on anything." So like, I asked the wrong question because then it made it slightly like, I'm like, "Oh crap!" I expected them to say like, I'm XYZ, and oh yeah, I feel like I know your name. They hit me up with something out of nowhere, like, oh, I'm not going to tell you because it doesn't matter. You wouldn't know. I've never posted. So that was the wrong path to go. It's also the wrong path to go to just nod and acknowledge and say like thanks with your nod. Now I know though, like robot has been programmed with the proper response. Oh well, thank you for watching. That's what I'm going to start saying moving ahead.
Well, we know how you lost one subscriber that day.
No, he tried buying me a beer later that night. I'm telling you, I made eye contact. He understood the nod of like, thank you. I appreciate like my nod, our nonverbals said everything. We were on the same page. Brad and my wife.
The only reason he tried to buy you a beer later that night is because he thought you hated him.
Yeah, exactly.
You're trying to get back on your good side.
Well, then is it worse that I didn't let him buy me a beer because I was already buying one or Nick had already bought one? Oh, man.
Oh, is that the guy? He let me cut in line because he didn't know I was getting you one.
Nick was skipping the guy in line. And I am so bad with names. I meet so many people. Probably watching right now. I apologize, but we were on the same page. I gave the nod. The nod said thank you. I appreciate it. I will say that verbally next time, though. But I've had a couple of those interactions. Like, as I said, I forget which convention it was, but somebody said, like, hey, I watch your channel. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what's your username? And I was going to try to, like, engage in that. And it's like, that's not the proper response because that didn't work. And then they said like, oh, you wouldn't know. Like, and then I don't remember what I said next. I'm just like, oh, okay. Or like, it was kind of awkward.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Learn something new every Collecticon.
Yeah. I'm still learning. I'm learning how to interact with other fellow humans. Oh man. Let's see where we're at.
Oh boy.
Walrus has had the pleasure to share a room with Brad.
He saved money.
Very nice.
Too.
Here we go. Quilly says, obviously no hard rule, but how would you balance liquidity with deploying capital to keep churning as a small seller? One thing I've always said is don't go broke on good deals. Always be ready in case like a great deal comes along. I've probably bought like what I would have described in the moment as a once in a lifetime deal. I've probably bought like 5 of them in 10 years. So always be as ready as possible. If you're the type of person that can behave with them, credit cards are a great way to like smooth ebbs and flows of cash flow from time to time. I'm not saying to leverage to the teeth and get really risky and carry balances at 30%, but they can help. One great thing that's happening right now is like grading turnaround times are getting quicker. So that's aiding in liquidity, but it's so hard to put like a percentage or to put so many questions I'd have to ask first before I could give a proper answer of like, is this a side hustle? Is this the way that I did it? I put in $5,000 side fund money, do my whole thing. And I sometimes took loans from myself. I sometimes took like small loans from credit cards to smooth things out. But yeah, as far as like, you need to put 20% back into the business, you need to take this percent out and invest it in the S&P 500. Like anytime you start getting the percentages, you just can't make like universal rules of thumb like that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would pretty much agree. Depending on the person, and what you're obviously cover your bills, cover all your expenses, give yourself some regular money to do other stuff with. But then like, I don't know. I would personally say go all in, cover your bills, cover some fun money, everything else put into Pokemon. But I also really enjoyed the business, and I wanted to grow it, and all that stuff, and kind of grow it quicker, I guess. And so that's how I was able to do it, is with my shipping job. A lot of money went into Pokemon back then, and because of that, it paid off in the long run. and I was able to start doing it full time and do it full time now. But at the same time, it was something that I really, really enjoyed, and I spent a lot of time on it, making a decent bit, but not a ton. So it also depends on like how much time you want to spend with it, and how if you want to make this like your something that you do 24/7, is like how much money you should put into it. I guess those things correlate. Don't put all your money in if you don't want this to be your 24/7 life.
Yeah. Buy good stuff, and then you don't have to worry about it sitting forever. Sell it quick.
Focus on liquidity.
Yeah.
So we have one of my victims in chat, Drew Teeny. I apologize. If you out there are listening and you've been a victim of an awkward social interaction with sleep-deprived convention Dan, who may not even have a voice. If these things happened on like a Sunday, there's a 50-50 shot, probably 80-20, 80% that I don't have a voice, 20% that I do. I apologize.
You don't got an excuse because you didn't lose your voice at all. You had your voice the whole time.
I had my voice the whole weekend this time. I'm going to make it a plan to try to retain my voice the whole weekend every time. But yeah, Drew Teeny says, LOL, that was me in Houston. It was Houston. He must have been the one that was like, hey, I watch your stuff. And I'm like, what's your username? Drew Teeny doesn't sound that familiar. So I'm drawing out a lurker by talking about my awkward introvertedness.
That's the guy that tried to say what's up to you and you nodded at him because that was Houston. That was the last.
We were just in Dallas.
Oh, that was Dallas. That's right. Okay.
This is probably the one where I was like, oh, well, what's your username? And then
okay.
I forget what I said or didn't say afterwards.
Yeah.
I've had a handful, like mostly like very good, and not that those were bad interactions. They were just awkward social interactions because I didn't know what to say, said a weird thing, whatever it may be. Like those things happen. But yeah, if you're out there, if you've been affected, I apologize. I'll try to do better. I've since been programmed with the proper thing to say, and it should be better moving ahead.
There we go.
Someone said it somewhere. Oh yeah, there we go. Dan hasn't coded in that level of social interaction yet. It has been coded in since my wife saw the blunder last time. Here we go. Nest TCG question for Nick: how do you handle taxes for vending a show? Keep track of cash buy/sells. Do you charge sales tax and send it to the state you sold in for PayPal, Zelle transactions, etc.? And we got Mr. Walrus making sure the IRS is pinged and ready to go for our answers.
So obviously cash is king for a reason, but then you do have to keep track of what you sell, what you buy for tax reasons. As far as charging sales tax, I think that's something you're technically supposed to do. I do not though.
Cautious.
I don't
Caution,
know how
Nick.
that works. I think technically everyone is supposed to charge sales tax. Mr. Taxman himself would know that.
Remember in Denver when we had to pay for a temporary permit or something? That
Yes.
one time?
Yes.
I remember hearing about that, and I thought they were gonna, like, after every show after that was gonna be like that too, but it never happened again. How did that work? They gave y'all, because I didn't vend Denver.
I forget. It was like $50, and then
like
afterwards I had to
per
tell
section?
them, what?
Per section or per table?
Per section. It wasn't much.
So you paid the $50, and then what? They gave you like a little piece of paper that said you were good.
They gave you a little like certificate saying you were good to go for the weekend.
I will. I've consulted my legal representation. We here at KetchumAllCollectibles abide by all local, federal, state regulations, as we always should. They vary by location, so consult your own legal and CPA representation for the proper steps to ensure you are abiding by all laws.
Man, that sounded exactly like a robot.
Yeah. I've got a CPA and a tax attorney on retainer, so I can just shoot them questions like this on the spot. But it really is like every state, not even just state, every county is different, and it is a huge mess. It is a massive mess trying to, and shout out to eBay. eBay, if you're listening, you are the real ones. I mean, shout out to Troll and Took. Any platform that handles all of the compliance. Like I have a Shopify. If I do box breaks through YouTube, which I've done a couple times, if I get over a certain threshold, every state's different, every like economic nexus, I don't have to do any of that with eBay. eBay, if they're a reseller who has filed their paperwork with eBay to not have to pay sales taxes, eBay handles that. If they are not a reseller, if they're a consumer and they live in my county is like 8.75%. If they live in Delaware or Oregon, 0%. If they live in California, I think New York alone has like 100 and something different tax jurisdictions because every county is different. Some cities, some villages have like their own things within it. It's mind blowing, mind numbing. It's mind numbing how crazy and convoluted it all is. And good selling platforms just handle all that, and it's a beautiful thing. That's like in as far as my time on eBay goes, I've been on eBay for like 20 years. The vast majority of my time on eBay did not do that. It's a relatively recent update, maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't know if you remember, Nick.
I want to say it was 16, 17, maybe 18, somewhere in that time frame.
So 5 to 10 years, maybe. I'm trying to look it up quick. When did eBay start? I remember that they were like emailing us all the time. Go out, reach out to your legislators. Like, don't make us do this. Don't make this burden on both of us.
Yeah.
It looks like it might have been 2020, actually. Marketplace tax collection. I think
I thought it was a lot longer ago than that.
I mean, that was almost 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Time flies.
It really does.
Yeah, crazy. Mr. Walrus answering in chat. The short answer is no, Ness. Conventions are a net loss on paper.
That's right.
Sell it 100%, buy it 70%, leave with inventory to sell on eBay. Who handles taxes?
There we go.
Yeah, I get that. Just figured some bigger businesses may buy, sell like 5+ figures through digital transactions, which are technically trackable. So I don't know how people avoid reporting that. Yeah, that is conversations to have with every dollar you make, every dollar you transact is legally required to be reported. You find a $20 bill on the ground in your driveway, you're supposed to report that. You find you buy a shirt at a coat at the thrift store that has a $50 wad of that bill in the pocket, you're supposed to report that. I had a couple starred comments that I forgot about from over an hour ago from Mr. Walrus. So we can hit those ones while we wait for more to come in. Actually, I didn't throw this one up on screen. Well, I think I threw it on screen when he did it, but I didn't shout it out. Appreciate you, Pokemon Wonder. Again, go check out his content. I think he's doing like usually Wednesday or Thursday, kind of midweek. Great content. Great interviewer. Very rarely can I catch them live because my productivity would go too low. Because it's that good, it's that engaging that I want to be like leaving comments and staying active in chat. And I just can't because I won't get anything done. And that's like the middle of my workday. So yeah, appreciate you, Justin. So here's one for me. Question, I've seen the KAC ads on Instamore recently. Am I seeing an influx of people? Yeah, I have been posting a little bit more ads for my Buy It Now consignment service. The space is getting a little bit more crowded. I know Jake mentioned recently in a live that he's going to start doing it a little bit. I mean, I know Nick for a while has been doing it a little bit. James is obviously doing buy it nows now. I've seen a couple different people on Instagram starting to do it. Kind of a no-brainer with the whole eBay vault being 0% thing. International folks can't get it directly. Some people that are domestic, for one reason or another, maybe related to what we were talking about earlier, they don't want to do it themselves. They don't want it to go through their own eBay, so they want to do it through someone else's. So, yeah, the consignment's doing good. Feel free to reach out for 1 to 4% variable consignments if you're interested. And then here's a little Nick self-promotion opportunity.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know who the cutie was. I guess that's me. When's the graveyard? Graveyard stream is the night stream. Those night streams can go late sometimes. But yes, trying out some daytime streams now. Where I don't do pack ripping on Tuesday nights because Weedle goes live at 10 p.m. So I go 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then Weedle starts at 10 p.m. and goes till whenever. So I don't do pack ripping Tuesday nights. So I don't have as much to package on Wednesday. So I started doing afternoon lives on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll go back live at 8 p.m. Eastern for my normal live. But yeah, the first one this week, and that one went well. I think it'll take some time to build up a daytime following, but I was happy with how things went this first afternoon stream.
Any intent, any reason long term for the midday live, or just trying something new?
So I like to stick with 2 hours of auctions. I feel like I start losing people after 2 hours, and I want to start running more auctions. So the only way to do that is either extend the length of time, which I don't want to do, or create new separate lives. So I went with that option, and then I think there's definitely some opportunity during the daytime, because you're starting to see more streams during the daytime, and where it's really just me, Weedle, and part-time collector doing Pokemon streams right now. I figure solidify that and get as many followers as possible during the daytime to make that a thing.
Dan, didn't you submit a application for eBay Live or something?
Right now it's on hold to getting any new people in there, but I'm kind of on a short list, I believe, if or when it were to reopen. I've had people.
How long has it not been open for? I didn't know that. I thought they were letting people on whenever they wanted.
It's like a closed beta. It's really invite only. But I think I haven't seen any new people hop on in a while. I don't really know. Obviously, eBay just had that massive layoff a month or so ago. I don't know if it was around that time in relation to that, but they're probably trying to get things up and running again with their newly downsized workforce. And I don't really have any insight to when that will be, though. But I'm not
sure. I think it's that new bidding thing. I think that's why they shut it down.
Yeah, it could just be
the little delay when you bid thing.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to just let a lot more people in until they have more things sorted, because obviously whatever problems you have, they're only going to be magnified, multiplied if there's that many more people being affected. But my foray into eBay Live will be nothing like Nick's. I could see myself doing, it's actually been a long time. It's been at least 6 months since I did a rip and ship stream on YouTube through my Shopify. I have my website. It's a Shopify website with nothing for sale. It's just like a landing page for my consignment information and then affiliate links and stuff like that, which maybe it will be forever. but I like the idea of eBay Live as opposed to YouTube because it's where I ship stuff out of anyways. And long-term thinking, I am a fisherman, as my shirt shows. I can't say I've never said never. I've never said I will never have employees. But W-2 employees are one thing. 1099 independent contractors are another. And
that's what someone says when they want to change their mind about getting someone working for them.
If someone can go clip me saying I will never have an employee, I don't think that clip. It might be. I don't think it is though. I don't believe I've ever said that. But I could see a potential, and I've had people reach out to me about potentially streaming under the KetchumAllCollectibles name, off-site independent contractor. I'm talking with people like maybe that would be a thing. I have so much inventory that would do really well with eBay Live. I don't enjoy the idea of like live selling auctions. I've never done it, so it's hard to, but I'm quite confident that I would not enjoy it thoroughly. And if anything, I would want to do more like the pack ripping, special events, release days of new sets, whatever it may be, breaking a WotC box once or twice a year maybe. But I'm definitely not going to be about to stream myself 20 hours a week. But I have the inventory. I could supply someone streaming 20 hours a week easily. And that's off what I have now. And if I started like trying to source more of that, like I absolutely could. I'm constantly turning down people trying to sell $50, $100 slabs that I don't want to buy. Like I want to do vault stuff. And yeah, if I could have a streamer or two that just like, that would be helpful to me because I lost Troll and Toad potentially. And there's a lot of inventory that just doesn't fit in the vault, obviously. I have a hefty modern allocation. I just had one of my distributors, Temporal Forces. I have like $25,000 of Temporal Forces coming that's just going to kind of trickle out slowly on my eBay. I have the inventory. I just need a streamer, I guess. Everything you'd consider Nick, or is it always going to be Nick behind the camera on Old School Pokemon?
So I'm gonna see how it goes for the next couple of weeks during the daytime, and then that might happen next month-ish. Probably in April would be a safe bet. Because I do want to do more daytimes, but I just can't. I can do Wednesday, and I can do every other Friday. That's it for me. So yeah, to do like Tuesday, Thursday, maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, definitely need someone else to help out. And so that is probably going to happen. But like I said, I do want to give it a couple weeks to just make sure it is going to be worthwhile.
Yeah. Your average player says, I'm bullish on hiring Norwegian teens. Old School Pokemon worldwide. What do you think about that, Brad? What do you think about Nick or myself having some independent contractors under our name? Too much brand risk or good business decision, or what are we thinking?
Well, Nick probably needs to because he's always going like nonstop, and like he needs an employee to like give himself
make
a break.
It 24/7.
But I'd be more excited to see you hire someone as a streamer, so that way I can like sit there and wait for them to mess up, and then you're canceled because you're associated. So yeah, it
is definitely something that would be a big step, like very minimal aspect of why I never envisioned myself having an employee. Partially is trust. Like I know a lot of different business owners in a lot of different industries. And like, I know restaurant owners, bar owners, mechanic, like shop owners, theft, but then theft from you as the business owner, then in the whole streaming thing, there's the risk of theft from the customer through rigging, product, whatever it may be. Like, obviously, whoever I were to have, like, I would have to fully trust them without reservation. And yeah, if that ever happens, it will be a situation like that, because obviously you don't want to risk. There's definitely brand risk there. There's definitely that's a part of it. But bigger than that for me as to why I don't want an employee, it's like a W-2 employee, a salaried employee that I'm responsible for paying 40 hours a week, whether or not I have something for them to do, whether or not I'm making enough. Like, you got to just pay them, right? A lot of responsibility there towards their livelihood, towards all that. That's part of it. And then a big detriment to freedom. Done the right way, though. Like, I've said this many, many times. I don't have employees, W-2s. I have tons of people working for me already. James has worked for me before. I've sent cards to the Z&G Emporium. Nick has worked for me before. Troll and Toad Evo has worked for me. DC Sports, Probstein, Heritage, Golden. I've sold cards through everywhere. If I were to hire an independent contractor streamer, set their own schedule, they stream 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, whatever they want to do, that has great potential. But there's a con and there's pros, right? The con is tying in with the brand. If there were an issue, it falls on me. Whereas with DC Sports, it doesn't, right? I send it, it goes and it's gone. The benefit, though, the pros of that, I mean, there's premiums garnered a lot of times on these live selling platforms. And so yeah, where there's pros, there's usually some cons that come with it too, but I'm considering it for sure. Interesting thing. Mr. Walrus wants to know, and maybe Mr. Walrus is fishing for a podcast partner. Any plans for Brad to do a regular podcast? I like people that tell it like it is, and it would be enjoyable.
I don't know. I've never really put any thought into it. Yeah, but I mean, I'm open to doing one in the future, but I've honestly never thought about it.
Is there someone out there that if this person were to ask me, I would leap at the opportunity? Does that? I'm not asking you to say who it is, but is there someone?
Honestly, no. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm down. Anybody would be cool, but there's not like a single person I'd be like, ooh, this person would be my number one choice.
Because for me, it was always Nick. I went to bed at night every night thinking, if a DM slides in from Old School Pokemon himself, I will start a podcast. I will start a YouTube channel. It did, and I was like years of longing for that. It finally came to fruition. And then about a year into it, I found out that I was his third choice, maybe even fifth choice, seventh choice. I don't know.
James was the first choice, right? Who was the second choice?
It was I can never say it. Cerulean City Cards on not Instagram. Well, he is on Instagram, but on E4.
Okay.
So I was crushed, but I stayed with him. We didn't. It wasn't so bad that it broke up the relationship, but yeah, I don't know. We're still going. We're starting our 4th year together. So we've had our ups and downs, as with any relationship. There's always some. I mean, there's always a little bit of like give and take, and there's always some underlying issues. But we bring ours to the surface. We talk through them. We've overcome. We've overcome.
Well, I don't know how we started talking. Because we hung out in DC.
Yep.
But I don't think we talked much after that. So
E4,
why did we start talking?
Well, we'd talked and done business years prior on E4. Like,
we weren't like talking regularly. I wouldn't start a podcast with a random person like you.
I honestly have a terrible memory, and I don't remember exactly how it happened, but we must have been talking with some frequency, right? Or you must have been like,
so.
Man, that guy's so good looking. That guy's so smart. If I started a podcast with him, it would shoot to the moon, obviously. No, I genuinely when I remember when you pitched it to me, I remember just like being a little bit caught off guard, being a little bit surprised. If anyone didn't catch the sarcasm, I didn't actually go to bed for years hoping that DM would come in. It kind of caught me off guard. I'm kind of like, huh. But obviously here we are. So I went for it, but I don't remember exactly what caused it. Yeah,
I have no idea.
We had periodic interactions over the years on E4, and then we went to Washington D.C. We hung out quite a bit there. Like when everyone went to the Imakuni signing, you hung back. Me, you, Gary.
I ditched you for that.
Or you went.
Yeah.
See, I have such a bad memory. It was me, Radar, Gary, maybe Zach then.
I think Zach.
Probably me, John, Zach, and Gary. It's funny. Like that's one of my favorite memories from, and then I can't even fully remember like who was there, who was in it. Oh man.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I'm the same way. I cannot remember anything.
I'm honored to have been your third choice because I don't know how I was that high.
I was just desperate.
Drew Tini, who I had that interaction with in Houston last year. Anybody grading the Pikachu Black Star promo 088? Did you get any of that product, Nick? That product is like, sorry, Earth. Sorry, Earth.
I was gonna say that is the biggest waste of packaging. I couldn't believe opening those things up.
It's that big box. You open it up. There's like an accordion style promo thing with like 5 promos in it, and then you fold out this little box underneath that has like 6 packs in it and tons of void space, a mini binder, some stickers, and I actually I was breaking those down earlier this week. I think like a week late probably with my daughter. And I gave her one of the deck boxes. I'm like, here, go put your cards in it, do whatever. She opens it up and she's got this thing. I'm like, I didn't even know there was a promo in there. I'm like, man, that's a nice promo. That's like the whole product right there. Because I really like that promo. I don't have enough. I'm not grading any myself. I know I should be, but I'm not grading much right now. Over the next few months, I'm trying to hold off on it. This summer, I'm going to get back into grading a lot. But I really like that promo a lot, and I expect a lot of them to be graded.
Oh yeah. No, I have my like 20 that I'm gonna send off, but that's all I have. I didn't get many of those.
And Waller says, if it's a Pika, everyone's grading it for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're like, I want to say they're like $12 or $13 because I'm not buying the checks. I don't have distribution like you guys, so I have no interest in like all that other stuff. So I just would buy the singles, but I'm kind of waiting out. I think it'll get under like maybe a little bit under $10. I don't want to buy. I don't want to buy a bunch at like 15, 14, and then it's $10 the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't plan on making any big play with that. I probably only have about 20 of those as well. I don't remember what the product's even called. I didn't.
The packs are pretty bad, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
probably.
You get Paldea, Obsidian, and Paradox.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad.
Any of the Scarlet and Violet packs outside of 151 and Paldean Fates are bad.
Yeah, as far as my loose pack inventory goes, I have tons of Paradox Rift and Obsidian Flames, obviously, but I have a lot of Scarlet and Violet too. Paldea Evolved, I had a couple cases that came from distribution that were like crushed bad, so I just ripped them. The boxes inside, the shrink wrap wasn't great, so I like broke down a case to loose packs. Not many products lately have come with too much Paldea Evolved. Like maybe there's 4 packs in it and only one's Paldea, but I'm running real thin on Paldea Evolved.
Yeah. There's not much with Paldea in it.
I know you got a lot of Scarlet Violet base, Dan, because when I bought that 12-pack lot, 11 of them were Scarlet Violet base. So
two at most. Man spreading misinformation.
So Chilling Rain pack, the rest was Scarlet Violet base. I was like, what the hell?
I specifically limit how many you can get of each set. Like, you're not going to get 12 151 by any stretch, but you're not going to get, like, you're going to get whatever the 4 most recent cheap sets are, you're going to get 2 of each of those for sure. But then you're going to get a little bit of Sword and Shield, at least for now. Like, once we get to SV8, they're all going to be SV sets probably. We got Mason in here. In DC, I thought you guys were lifelong best friends, inseparable. We did go. Remember when we tried? It was me, you, and Ethan. We tried going to the Mint.
Yeah. Yep.
We tried going to the Mint together. I took us a wrong turn.
Yeah, you got us lost.
I think we would have not made it anyways, but we were like 10 minutes too late. We probably only lost 5 minutes going the wrong way for a couple minutes. We were like 10 minutes too late to get it. We tried touring the Mint down in DC. I think that was just me, you, and Ethan.
Yeah. Yep.
But I remember we sat near each other. Remember that dinner where we talked a lot with John? I think you were right beside me there. John was across the way at that like an Asian place of some kind. I forget.
I don't even remember what we got there. I think it was like a sushi place.
I remember that was the meal where kind of like as we were leaving, everyone was going back to Zach's room, maybe. I forget where that was, but that's when I broke off and went and bought the trophy. But we definitely did hang out a lot on that trip. I don't remember, like, that's the thing. Like, I went into Nashville I had been to, so I had already bonded a little bit with like Zach and some other people. You were kind of new to me in DC, but for whatever reason, we kind of hit it off. I think we hit it off, and the rest was history. And now we're year 4 of our podcast.
It's not just a podcast, Dan. It's a relationship.
Yeah, Dan and Nick share clothes at Collecticons. Oh man! Any prediction for this year of SV? Is that just like Scarlet Violet, the block in general?
I hope to God it gets better. I don't know. Paldean Fates. I was actually really surprised with Paldean Fates. I think that's it's a fun set to open. And I enjoy it a lot more than Shining Fates, the Sword and Shield era one. So that was a pleasant surprise to me. But I do hope we get a alt art type of chase. We need something. We need something. It can't be just continuing the special illustration rares and the illustration rares. We need something else to make it more exciting. Some big chase. So I hope that comes soon.
Number cards.
Let's go.
I don't like the idea of number cards. I don't like the idea of that. Not that big of a chase.
I am not like opening and consuming much of it at all, but I think generally what happens is I think things are better than people make them out to be. I think that supply is just pretty high. I think the market gets irrationally negative, like constant cycles of irrational negativity and then irrational exuberance. Like there's no in between. They can't just be like everything, like things are stonking or things are going down. It's wild. I long for the 2014 to 2020 days where things were just like a slow, gentle, relatively, because Evolutions was there, Pokemon Go bubble, the Gold Star bubble, all those things were baked into there. But generally speaking, 2014 to 2020 was just like a nice steady tailwind. These days, it's just like everything's got to be rocket emojis or like everything's imploding, going to zero. It's like, let's just chill. And one constant though, like if I had to park my money in any, like if I had to invest, some people would say I am, I don't say I am, but if I had to invest in anything, even though people talk about how bad it is, like ultra modern sealed at distributor prices right now, the consumer can get at sub distributor pricing. I'm not making investing advice for people, but I am bullish on buying $80 to $90 boxes of entertainment. They are boxes of entertainment for people. Like I don't get that much value out of them. I don't know how that many people spend that much money on entertainment in that fashion. Like every time a new set comes out, my family and I, we open up an ETB or maybe a booster box. I always, like, at the end of it, the cards are all on the floor, folded in half, stuffed into binder, whatever. The kids just destroy them at this age. I don't feel like I'm getting the value out of it at wholesale cost. And then people are buying these things at like full retail, buying these things on streams for above retail. It's like, it's kind of mind blowing to me, but I'm bullish on money allergies continuing. I'm bullish on the consumption of Pokemon continuing.
Didn't you do that with Magic 30 though?
I'm insane. I'm insane. I'm playing with house money, and yeah, I didn't sell a single card of it. I loved Magic 30. The idea of it, the concept of it, towing the line, going over the line of how much money they could successfully charge to the consumer. I thought that was a very interesting product, and I had to partake. I mean, this is all coming from somebody along with my co-host. I won both auctions through Golden, but somehow I conned Nick into buying into half of it.
Oh, were we
$10,000
colluding with those auctions, Dan?
Oh man, wait a second.
I bid on those myself. I don't think you even knew I was bidding on those. And then when I won two, I'm like, oh crap. Let me get Nick to buy into half this L I'm gonna take. But Nick and I spent $10,000 each to go to Vegas and to rip packs on stage, that whole charity box break thing. That was what, like, I in my normal life, I am very frugal, reasonable with money. I am reckless. I will admit I am like reckless and insane with house money in this space. So, some of the, I mean, Metazoo. I mean, I bought Metazoo. Look at some of the, I am reckless playing with house money. So don't follow me. But all that said, I am like one of the biggest segments of the hobby that I think is like a higher floor with a reasonable ceiling, like less risk, ultra modern sealed. It's clunky. It takes up a lot of space, a lot of percentage. You got to lose to like move it, but it is liquid. People are ripping like crazy. I think people are going to continue to rip like crazy. It's it's wild. And I've been treated very well by buying and kind of sitting on short to midterm ultra modern sealed, and I'm going to do it until it completely burns me, I guess, but I don't really expect it to anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically saying you should invest in modern sealed?
Everyone's opportunity cost. Like, I'm not on 30% credit. I'm like, everyone's situation is different. I'm getting my full employer match. I'm blah, 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 blah. All that that I've said a million times. But I
like that. It's true. I would agree.
$2.99 packs, yuck. $1K packs, let's rip. Yeah, I mean, we spent $10K on a base first, shadowless, and unlimited pack, and we pulled fire.
Were they guaranteed heavy?
No,
it was from a box break.
I got a shadowless Charizard, so I got 2 out of 3 holos. I had a last from base unlimited, which Pokeju opened for me, or not Pokeju. Dogecoin Millionaire, I think, opened for me because they almost gave my packs away. They almost let someone else open my packs. And then I got on stage and pulled the shadowless Charizard, and I think I pulled the Magneton, and Nick, you pulled the Zapdos. Or vice versa.
I pulled the Magneton. I think I have the Magneton.
Maybe I have the Zapdos. I see my memory. So I know the 2 cards that were pulled, but I'm clouded by the shadowless Charizard. Obviously, I know that one. Metazoo Games YouTube is in here. Nice to see you, Metazoo. Mike, how you doing over there? Hope retirement's treating you well. Forced retirement. Oh man. But I'm bullish. Going back to the question, I'm bullish on somehow Scarlet and Violet turning it around, whether it's easier pull rates or harder pull rates or the right art, whatever people think they need, I think they'll eventually get. But constantly we go through ebbs and flows of like just this pessimism to optimism. And 5 years from now, I'm quite confident that people will look back and, oh, there were some good sets in early Scarlet and Violet. And I think the box prices will be doing fairly well relative to what they are today. I'm not saying beating the stock market, blah, blah, blah. But I think I will be happy to have bought and owned and kept in inventory what I currently have in inventory, and that's why I'm doing it. I've always done it to some extent. Rusty, actually, I just did Wonders thing with him a few days ago. Rusty says he puts back like 40 to 50 cases of every set.
I was surprised by that. Yeah.
I'm doing like 10 to 20 of the more recent ones, but I commented on the video because years ago I used to do 1 to 2 when I think Rusty used to do like 10 to 20. So Rusty used to be 10 times me. Now he's only like 2-3 times me. So I'm catching up. Well, watch out, Rusty. I'm coming for you. But yeah, I heard that comment. I heard that comment by him, and 40 to 50 cases. That's next level.
That's a lot of space.
Yeah,
taken up.
But it makes sense nowadays where you guys can't sell boxes and make money.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to set them back.
Just hold it till later.
Yeah.
Because why sell a box for $90 and lose $3?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
The biggest reason would be like cash flow if you needed it. If you needed it to pay the bills, pay the employees, but clearly he doesn't. So yeah. I like
Jarvis' question. Oh. That's kind of a follow-up. What do you guys think about the idea the future success of Ultramon and Sealed hinges on the continued popularity of breaking culture? How linked do you think they actually are? Or you think they actually are? I think they're as close together as possible. Without people breaking modern sets, you're gonna have a fraction of the demand for those sets. I think the most number of boxes sold are being sold to streamers in order to have packs for people to rip on stream. You're not selling hundreds of boxes a day for people to add to their personal collection and put up on the wall back there. You're selling those boxes to people who are either breaking those boxes immediately or buying those boxes to invest in so that they could eventually be sold to streamers. I think that's a huge percentage of what why everything's working the way it is right now is because there's a ton of demand for these live pack rips, and every single day it'd be interesting to find out like how many boxes are getting opened every single day. It's gotta be thousands of boxes between eBay, whatnot, TikTok, Drip, every single streamer. It's gonna be an insane amount of
people opening at home.
People at every LGS, everywhere. People buying a pack or two at Walmart. Like the tip of the iceberg is what you see.
Yeah.
The majority of packs are opened, and you never see them. The majority of cards open, like all the Moonbreons graded. There are way more than that not graded. All the Moonbreons that sell every day on eBay, most Moonbreons ever printed, ever put into existence, will never sell. Like they'll not sell once. Like so, we are so deep into this that we oftentimes get caught up in assuming we are representative of like what the total demand is, what everyone is in the hobby. We are like way deep here. I think the vast majority of cards are just consumed, and they'll never sell. Maybe years down the line when someone goes to college. I think people think today, and definitely more so than it was in '99. People think today every card is automatically put into a sleeve, graded, preserved forever. A lot of them are, but not all of them. A lot more than ever used to be, but still not all of them. A lot of cards are just straight consumed and will just end up in a dumpster someday, never seeing the light of day, never being sold, never being it's pretty wild. And it's a great question. I think a lot of it is linked to breaking culture. I think eventually at some point it'll cool off. I mean, right now though, as I said, we're kind of in a cooling period. I mean, $80 Crimson Invasion was one a few years back. $80 Chilling Reign was one a couple years back. Today it's $80 Paradox Rift, Scarlet and Violet base, whatever. I think those things are gonna my distributor without limit, I can get it for $90. I think on eBay, not even talking TikTok deals, not even talking anything. I think a lot of times you can get like $500 cases, which with credit card rewards are like 82 bucks a box. So yeah, I think I'm bullish on it in the short to medium term. I don't think that it will just go up into eternity forever, but I think a lot of what we do is really buoyed by it. A lot of streamers are providing a lot of liquidity, knowing that someone's going to be there at 70%, 80% to get you out of whatever you got, regardless, and they'll just stream it and make their margin. And I know like Retro and Josh were talking about, I think it was more Retro talking about all these Chinese influencers, streamers over in China, like they just sell 24/7, all these knickknacks, all these, in a lot of ways, like Pokemon cards or that. A lot of this stuff is just straight consumption. A lot of your whatnot buyers, a lot of your eBay live buyers, that stuff's not coming back to the market. That stuff is straight consumption, and it's gone from the market forever.
Yeah, 100%. But I do agree. I like Wallers's thing. His comment about I think the live rips are here to stay, because I do think that having packs opened on a stream is a lot more fun and a lot more entertaining than being at home and opening them yourself. Like even like for me, for example, I used to like me and you, Dan. We used to love going to CollectCon and opening a WotC pack. But would we ever do that at home alone? Absolutely not. But with being around a group of friends and opening that pack was an absolute blast. And the same is true with these live streams. People are in there with a group of friends who are in the live stream with them every single night. So I think these live streams are just going to get bigger and bigger, and the number of people opening packs at home by themselves is going to become less and less.
And as Walrus says here, breaking culture is people's need for community. Ripping alone is dark. It's an experience that will never go away when done with reputable people. I never open product like just me. I open some with my kids. I open stuff at conventions and stuff. I open stuff on stream, like on YouTube. But yeah, I really don't do it. I don't get that much out of it. But part of like the whole gambling thing, like I like going to the casino from time to time. I'm definitely a gambler. This hobby's built in so many ways on gambling, so I enjoy that part of it. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a really good question. I don't know. The thing is, I'm not a consumer of that. I'm not a consumer of like eBay Live, of whatnot. Back during the boom, when there weren't events, when you couldn't go, I remember being in like a couple of Radar streams, buying into some box breaks. I have some cards in my PC that came from that. Definitely fun times there. But as far as like just going in and buying whatever and buying into rips like every night, or I'm not that consumer, so it's hard to say like how long term it'll be around. But I feel like to some extent it will be. But is it enough? Is it enough to keep up with the printing? Is it enough? I have no idea. But all that said, all things considered, and I see Alex in here, Nostalgianomics. I'm very comfortable buying ultra modern sealed at distribution prices. And the thing is, like, in the grand scheme of my total inventory, if I have 50K or 80K, even if I have 100K in ultra modern sealed, that's 10% of my inventory. That's like maybe less than 10% of my inventory. It's not a huge, like, I'm not going all in on that. That's not my whole thing. And that's just my inventory Pokemon picture. That's not all my traditional blah, blah, blah investment. Like, it's all relative. It's all in the context of like everyone's individual situation and opportunity cost, and the same caveats I always give. We've actually got, I got a quick one to hit for Wonder. Why am I pulling back on grading temporarily? I work nights right now. I work nights for another 3.5 months until the school year ends. My daughter, we did not send her to daycare. I am home with my daughter during the day and I work nights. It's tough. I am not sleeping enough. I'm trying to not take on, like, I'm doing the consignments. I'm doing all my own sales. I'm not trying to take on like a lot extra. So it's nothing to do with the markets, and it's nothing to do with anything other than my time. So yeah, that's a quick one on that. This is a really good one. by Mr. Kite, and I'll let Nick go first, and then maybe Brad goes last, just to like say if he took over Dan's business, if he took over Nick's business, what would he do?
Oh
yeah, Nick,
boy!
If you took over my business and inventory, day one, what are you doing?
Day one. I think you're pretty much, you seem to be pretty much set on like your graded inventory. I think you're pretty much caught up with your graded inventory. If you're not, I would get caught up with that. Get that stuff listed. But I think you're pretty much caught up there. I would start focusing on the singles, like from that that big $50,000 collection. You have like a lot of $20 to $100 singles. Start listing them as auctions. List like the played condition copies as auctions. Run 10 to 20 every single day, and then anything that's like a little bit better condition, list as buy it nows. I would start focusing a lot on that, and start working your way down. Do like the more expensive ones, the $100 ones, then go down to the $50 ones, then go down to the $20 ones, and then the bulkier stuff just kind of forget about.
I'm saving those for my streamers.
There we go.
All the near mint plus stuff. Well, the graded stuff got graded. The stuff eligible for Troll and Toad went to Troll and Toad. I have a lot of non-Pokemon I still need to deal with. Like all the Dragon Ball went to Retro. A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh went to Ernesto. A lot of Naruto went to like Coulson and bulked out to Squeaks. But I have a lot of like really niche stuff that I don't know what to do with. At some point, I got to deal with those. But no, I hear it. I hear it. It's just right now, I'm really strapped for time. I think it's been top of my list for like a year now. I've had the time to do it. I've just not prioritized it. I have uncut sheets. Listening to Rusty's thing with Wonder, I forgot that Neo Genesis common sheets sell for like $2,000 at auction.
Mm-hmm.
I have one. I think I have one I bought from Rusty for like $50 or something years back. I need to get my uncut. Like I probably only have 10 to 15. It's just like I need to lay them out on a table, take pictures, list them as buy it nows on eBay. The fact that those are not listed, it's not like, again, it's all relative. It's not like it's an obscene amount of money, but I probably have an easy 10 to 20 grand worth of sheets just sitting there doing nothing. And I know that I need to list them, and I've told myself I need to list them for a long time, and I just haven't. But yeah, if I was Nick, if I woke up, I think there's a lot of movies based on it, but you wake up in someone else's body, like Freaky Friday or whatever. I think there's a lot of them. If I woke up in Nick's body tomorrow, what would I like? I would get streamers, which I think he's actively thinking about working. I would get people to pump that eBay live 24/7, 365, have someone always live. I would honestly, I would probably do a lot more collecticons, which it sounds like you're it sounds like you're doing more. I mean, you're doing 4 this year. 5, right?
Yeah, 5.
So you're doing almost half of them. I would probably do more though. I would probably do more events for sourcing. I would probably look to get more streamers, get like, but it all depends on what you value. Like overall, if I had to choose between sourcing and selling, I like sourcing better. I like being on the buy side better than I like being on the sell side. That's why I never really see myself more as like a novelty, maybe a couple times a year here and there, streaming, selling. But I don't want to be the salesman. I want to be the shrewd, knowledgeable, experienced buyer. I think money's made when you buy, when you make the deal side. So I want to be there primarily. And that's why I love Troll and Toad Evo. That's why, so yeah, if I were in your shoes, I would probably use conventions more to source, and I would try to, but that's because we enjoy different things, right? Like we're doing different things because we are different people enjoying different things.
Yeah.
But it's a fun question. What about you, Brad? So you take over day one, Old School Pokemon Enterprises. What's your first order of business?
Oh man, I don't even know. Get Wallace to do everything.
Get Wallace to do everything.
That's what I forgot to say. I would make merch and I would revive my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I would post more YouTube videos.
You've got me there. You've got me there.
And then Dan, I would just sell everything if I was you, and then
Just sell everything.
Go be a fisherman.
hit
Wind out my days.
a Rusty, be like, how much for it all, and then get a number from him.
There we go.
More than I can afford.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Um.
No, I'm saying I would sell it to Rusty. All you know.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's your food truck startup business money.
I think that'll definitely happen someday. It's just a matter of being the right time in my life. Now with young kids, with Pokemon doing what it's doing, I don't think now's the right time.
Now, do you think? Can you see what's going to happen to Pokemon at that point? Do you just give up Pokemon, or do you do it the same and the food truck, or do you dial back Pokemon?
I think I will, like the eBay vault, what I'm doing right now, what I'm starting to do with, maybe I'll still do consignments. Maybe I'll still make YouTube content. Maybe like it's hard to envision. It's hard to know. If you asked me 5 years ago what I was going to be doing, I wouldn't have gotten any of it right. I would have gotten exactly zero of it right. So it's hard to get too distant, but I don't think I'll ever leave eBay. Going back to high school, the first time I turned down the EB Games offer on my Sims PlayStation 2 game and went and sold it on eBay to get the same amount after doing all the work. I love eBay. It's been coins, it's been video games, it's been Steins, it'll always be something on eBay. I think Pokemon, I have a hard time ever envisioning myself leaving Pokemon altogether again. But that said, like, maybe I will. I have no idea. If you would ask me between 1999 and 2001, I probably would have said I love Pokemon so much I'm never leaving. And then by 2003, like most people, I left. So it's impossible to project too far. But I envision doing the food truck, waiting for the next customer to come, waiting for the meat to finish smoking, being on eBay, filling up my eBay vault with auctions and selling them as buy it nows.
There we go. There we go.
Here's one more for you, Nick. And I'll say it's 4:26. We're probably going to wrap up in the next 10, 15 minutes. We're getting close to when we normally end, so we'll take what we can.
It is coming soon, or I don't know about soon, but it is coming. I've asked them about that. Other sellers have asked them about that. They said it is coming, but it's harder to bring it on desktop. I don't know. I don't know any of the back end stuff. But that is something that is coming at some point.
Can you do whatnot off the desktop?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's probably similar.
Yeah, that feels huge. Just for the nature of, like, I'm on DSL anyways. If I start doing DSL from a mobile wireless, like that just gets dark pretty quick. If I can at least be hardwired Ethernet through my crappy DSL, not limited by my hardware.
You can do the desktop, but everyone watching can only be on their phone.
Oh, so you can stream. There's probably some there's probably some way to emulate like an Android. There's probably some like backdoor way to have like an emulated Android ecosystem within your computer. So you probably but obviously what Walrus is asking is like natively done without doing any crazy stuff, which would be nice.
Because I have heard of people doing like screen mirroring to their TV. You can do that, but like an actual, like, go on eBay, click a button, and it'll pop right up. That's what they need.
That would be nice. Yeah, because I do a little bit from my phone, but not much. I do almost everything from my computer.
Yeah.
When we were talking about what I would do when I take over Old School Pokemon, Dan's answer will be Fire Walrus. Oh man, that's funny. Pokemon Wonder says, how much money do you each have in unlisted inventory? Too much.
I have no idea.
Here's a quick one. How do you ship an uncut sheet rolled up in a tube? Rolled up in a tube. If it's like a thick one, if it's like a Topps Chrome one, I bought like a handful of hollow like Topps Chrome sheets. They were shipped between 2 massive 1/4-inch thick sheets of plywood, sandwiched between banded like shipping bands. That was heavy. I don't know how much that cost to ship them, but back I think I paid $1,000 years ago for like multiple Topps Chrome sheets. One sparkle sheet that I don't have anymore.
Where did that go, Dan? Where did that go?
They probably spent like $300 in shipping on like $1,000 sale. I have all but one because I sold the sparkle sheet for what I paid for everything years ago. But yeah, some of it too is like, it's a little bit like, one, are you asking what's my cost into what I have unlisted? Because that's a different answer from what's its market value today. And another one, this brings me back to the company I used to work for, because we had a lot of low grade material that had like a high value metal. Think of like gold. Think of gold. If you have a mountain that's 0.001% gold, well, a mountain's huge. And the economic value of all the gold within that mountain, even at 0.001%, might be millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. But you have to do millions of dollars worth of work to extract that, right? So if you took like the full retail value of everything I own, it might be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's not reasonable to account for it in that fashion. One, because I paid nowhere near that for it. And two, I mean, I have years worth of work, or maybe not years anymore, but months worth of work. So it's like I would have to spend 1,000 hours and then all the fees. And it's like I might have the total retail value of a few $100,000 that ultimately would net me 100,000 paid $40 an hour or whatever to unlock it. Because yeah, having it there and actually having to do the work to unlock that value, two different things. That was actually a fight I got in with some people at my company, because they were doing like weird things with like valuing a 1 gram bar. Again, we weren't talking about gold in my instance, but say like a 1 kilo bar of gold clearly is much more valuable than a 100 kilo drum that is 1% gold content. Because one is immediately in a sellable form, instantly, high liquidity. The other one you need to do stuff with to unlock the potential, to unlock the money. So interesting question, hard to answer. I probably lost a lot of people with that, but
no, that made sense to me. That made sense to me.
Yeah.
Chemical engineer Dan checking in.
That was definitely an engineer answer.
I'll just leave this one on the screen for everyone to read. Oh. Ooh, I have to listen to this content very soon. Chef said he would start the food truck with you, Dan. It's called Slabs and Slabs. So slabs of meat and cardboard, shiny cardboard slabs. I like it.
There we go. There we go.
I like it. Oh, that's funny. I think that's everything. I think we got to every question. We are a little past 4:30. I did leave links below. I believe we have. I noticed your URL. Your URL, Brad, still says the Zard Hunter for YouTube.
No, it doesn't.
Look in the description. If you click, it says youtube.com/c/the Zard Hunter, and it goes to Brad G Cards. I'll link you. I'll link you in Discord right now. When we get off the stream, click it and go to it. It goes to your channel and it says the Zard Hunter. But anyways, Brad's YouTube is linked below. Brad's Instagram is also linked below. Go check him out. Go like, follow, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff there. Thanks for coming on, Brad. Thanks, chat. Any closing remarks?
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Do appreciate it. And thank everyone. Thank you guys for listening, putting up with us for the past couple hours.
Cheers to 3 years, and here's to the next 3 and beyond. Thanks, everyone. We will catch you all later.